People, Deluded, I'm back again. Happy Friday, folks. I do a lot of streaming, and to be honest, I'm tired of offering my opinion. So I've got a couple brothers here to offer theirs. How you doing, lads, man? Introduce yourself and all that good stuff.
Everyone,
Don't be shy, man.
everyone, good to be back on the channel. Been some time. The African Gooner, excited to chat about transfer news, kind of wrap up the end of the season and what we're expecting next season, man.
Yeah, my name's RYL Football Hub. Deluded Gooner. It's been a while.
It's been a while,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
Overdue.
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. Again, happy to be on the platform, man, and great work as you've been doing, bro.
Appreciate that. Obviously, I haven't caught up with you lot in a bit yet. Before I get into everything else, I want to ask you lot. The season's done. You've had time to settle, and we're going to talk about transfers and all of that. But what's you lot's thoughts on the season and everything now that we've seen it play out?
From my perspective, I think in January, once we knew what we had to do and we didn't do it, the expectations of what I had from February 3rd when the window closed exactly unraveled the way we expected, and no surprise. I mean, we've been in this situation, and you and I have spoken many, many times. We know what we need to do, and we don't address it. There's always something else that we need to do. There's always that one extra thing. We're always like, we'll wait till next summer to fill that position. We'll wait till next summer, and we're always playing catch up, right? And I think this is the most painful time as an Arsenal fan, because when you're so close and you see the club spending money. When you see the club spending money, which we previously we were not spending this type of money, right? And so it's hard to look at the owners to blame them when they've been giving money. People say, oh, the owners didn't help Arteta in January, but they bid 40 million for Watkins, no? So that means the money was there. That means that it was Arteta's choice not to pull the trigger and sign an attacker. And I mean, look, actions speak louder than words, right? If you're signing Calafiori as your first signing in that summer window, it tells you everything you need to know. If you're getting rid of Smith Rowe, Vieira, Nelson, and you're replacing them with Sterling, that tells you everything that you need to know. If you're not recalling Fabio Vieira in January, that again tells you everything you need to know about that player, right? And I mean, DG, you and I know Smith Rowe is one of your favorite players, and I told you like a season before. I told you 8 months before it was going to happen, because Arteta was already showing me what he was going to do. So Arteta shows us sometimes with his actions what he's going to do. And in January, he showed me he didn't want to get that attacker. So I was expecting no trophy. I'm really proud of us that we made the semifinal of the Champions League, because, beating Madrid was a big deal for us, considering that we haven't really beaten any elite European team in the Champions League before. We're used to getting our ass spanked every year. And this is the first time we were able to give a spanking to someone else. So, yeah.
Fair play. Where you at, Mum?
I'll say this. I did agree with some of the things you said, but I have to go against some of the other things you said. Beginning of the season, I automatically thought that we are not going to win a trophy, because obviously we did not sign a striker. We needed to sign that striker in order for us to cement that place and actually get over the finishing line, right? Especially because the last two seasons, we've got there, but we haven't got there. Ran out of steam for. That's a great word, flirted. We flirted with the prospects of actually winning the league. I thought the first thing we was going to do after last season is go get that striker. We didn't, right? And I said this at the beginning of the season. I wasn't expecting nothing. So the fact that we finished second, and the fact that my man said there that we actually went to Real Madrid and did the job, I'm actually impressed.
Why weren't you expecting anything?
The reason why I wasn't expecting anything is because, first of all, the market, as you said, we bought a bunch of defenders, which in hindsight, people are complaining about the defenders. But imagine we did not get those defenders with the injuries that we've had. We would have been super effed, right? So in hindsight, we didn't and we did have a good summer. But we know we needed a striker.
The expectation, irrespective of if we have a good or a bad summer, is that we win a trophy, right? Especially considering where we are in terms of like Arteta's career, where we are as a team, where we are as a fan base, and what we've had to put through and struggle over many, many years, right? So for me, I agree. I think I a little bit disagree, but I agree with you. Like, yes, the summer was bad, so it's like, your expectations are a bit tampered. But at the end of the day, at the beginning of the season, I was still very gung-ho to be like, yeah, okay, whatever. Arteta made the decisions to get Calafiori. Whatever decisions he made, he knows why he made those decisions. And my feeling is like, he knows that his expectation was to win. So if he knew that expectation, my expectation as a fan is you got to deliver, right? Irrespective of who you sign in the summer. And then for me in January, it's like, okay, well, you've made a mistake. So we can see we have a creative issue. Go fix it. It's fine. You made a mistake. Cool. But go fix it. Time to go fix it. And then you didn't fix it. And that's when I was like, okay, yeah, well, the season's over in January.
See, that's the thing is that I had the same feeling that I was thinking, Arteta, why are you not going to fix the problem when we know we need a full number 9, right? And then I read a recent article by James McNicholson from The Athletic, and it made sense, especially what he was saying. Do you remember the last game with Newcastle, where he pointed up to the board and said they need to do what they need to do? Remember, in the space of 5 years, that is the first time he's done that. That's the first thing he's pointing up to the boardroom and like, they need to do what they need to do. That's the first thing. In the article, it says, in January, Arteta pushed for Watkins.
Yeah.
It was the club that didn't value him at 60 million. Arteta wanted to go for 60 million, but the club was like, no, I don't think he's the right guy. I don't think we should go for 60 million, right? And then last summer, do you remember, how long have we been following Sesko? For a long time.
About 20 years.
For 2 years, right? So last summer was supposed to be okay. We followed you for a year and a half now. Now we want to make the bid. Everything was supposed to be okay. And then last minute, RB Leipzig was like, nope, he's keeping him for a year. It completely messed things up. Now that's why you're seeing we're going for both Sesko and Gyokeres, because we don't want to make the same mistakes as losing one striker and then potentially having no others.
So I think I need to correct you on a couple of things because some of the details are not correct. So firstly, yes, okay, I hear you, bro. Arteta said in January, and Declan Rice and everyone came out and spoke about, us not needing players, right? Which is it's not something that we're used to as the Arsenal fan base. Our manager usually never comes out and says stuff like that. He's very conservative and he keeps cards to his chest, but this is the first time that he was saying something. Can I remind you that Arsene Wenger used to tell us lies all the time? They used to tell us so much PR, and I don't understand why Arsenal fans believe what Arteta was telling us in January, because I've just proved to you that actions speak louder than words, and I've proven to you and I've given you examples that he's had many chances to get attackers and we haven't gotten them. So it's not that he really wanted an attacker, bro. If he really wanted an attacker, we had plenty of opportunities for him to buy one. So the fact that he didn't buy one is because he's stubborn and he only wants a specific one, and he's gonna wait to get that one, and that's what we're seeing transpire.
Is he wrong for that though?
Sorry?
Thank you.
If he wants a specific one, is he wrong for that?
I mean, that's up to him on the risk and how secure he feels in his job. Clearly, he feels secure enough to take risks like this in January when Kai Havertz is down and we don't have attackers, to be like, yo, okay, I'm going to just go with what I have because that's it. And I'm going to make that big call and I'm not going to spend the 50, 60 million. By the way, Watkins was actually offered to us. We were never interested in Watkins. Aston Villa was the one who came to Arsenal, told us, oh, hey, by the way, here's Watkins, he's available, he's 60 million. Arsenal did their valuation and said, no, he's actually only worth 40 million. We're only willing to pay 40 million. And they were getting so much more money, they didn't really need to sell anymore. So they're like, you know what, we'll keep him. We don't have to be forced to sell him, which I'm okay with, because Arsenal said, okay, whatever. But now you're going to go back in and you're going to get Sesko. In terms of the Gyokeres stuff, like, we were never really linked to the Gyokeres. It was always Manchester United. It was always Nottingham Forest. In January, most Arsenal fans don't even know this, but David Ornstein came out publicly saying that Arsenal is not interested in Viktor Gyökeres, and that Viktor Gyökeres is actually not interested in Arsenal. And that shifted completely 3 months ago or 2 months ago when we signed Andrea Berta, who had done all this previous work with the previous club to get this big goal scorer who I love and I think can improve us. But again, Arteta doesn't rate it. I mean, it's not Arteta's first choice. Arteta wants Sesko, and I definitely think that that's going to happen. So I just want to remind you that, look, just because Arteta's told us stuff, right? Arsene Wenger told us that we're not going to sell Sanchez, and we sold Sanchez. Arsene Wenger told us that we're not going to sell Chamberlain, and he played him against Liverpool and then sold him 3 days later. Like, how do you play a player against a team that you're going to sell him against? Like, so I don't take things at face value, right? Like, a lot of the things is exactly what you see. Arteta is choosing to make these decisions. Arteta chose to buy defender. Arteta chose to buy defender. Arteta chose to buy a backup goalkeeper. These are all active decisions that you make. He actively decided not to get Marcus Rashford. He actively decided not to get Vlahovic. He actively decided not to get all these players. Asensio. I can name you maybe 20 or 30, right? So when we are having these conversations, it's very hard for me to go to go now and say, look, Arteta, you know what I mean? Like, he wants a striker, and in January he said he wants. You know what I mean? I don't believe any of that because of what I've seen.
Right. So that's the thing. The question I wanted to ask you, right, is because we went in for Watkins. They valued it at 60 million.
Yeah.
And then obviously the club, whether you agree to disagree that it was Arteta or the club,
that
they valued it at 40, right?
Yeah.
So what other striker in the January window that
Yeah.
you can go and possibly get that will come in, not only fit into the style, but actually allow us to go actually progress.
Yeah, but we've been tracking Vlahovic for how many years, man?
But he doesn't want to. He didn't want.
Oh, of course he does. Of course.
Okay. But what I'm trying to say, that Vlahovic, right?
Yeah.
He was probably a prospect for the summer, right?
No,
Not January.
man, we've been linked with Vlahovic for like 2 years, man. We wanted him even the season before, right? So like, it's not about in January we just decided, oh, Vlahovic is an opportunity. No, there's Vlahovic, there was Kolo Muani, there was Morata, there was Rashford. You know, there was so many options that we could have really, if we wanted to. You know what I mean? Like Shirky was there for 30 million. He improves us. You know, there's wingers like Semenyo, Nico Williams. If we really want 50 million, we could have paid for that in January. We didn't have to wait till now.
So just before you continue, so you would be happy, right, with the guys that you just named, the Kolo Muani.
I would have loaned or taken them for 6 months just to do a stopgap, just to give ourselves a better chance. Not that they were the be it and end all, and I wanted to give them long-term chances. No, we needed to go for the league. The previous January, we didn't make any attacking signings. We finished with nothing, and we had more injuries this January than the previous one. So logically, it made sense to just bring anyone who could help us because we were drowning. In my opinion, I would have taken Vlahovic on loan. I would have taken Morata on loan. I would have taken Asensio on loan because I think all those players would improve us than freaking forcing Marino, who did really well as striker, right? When you don't have a striker and you have to play a midfielder for the first time in his career as a striker, and you're telling me you're not going to take an out-and-out striker that plays at a top level for another team.
Would Morata and Koulibaly, to just interject, would that, obviously you wouldn't have known at the time, but with those kind of guys, in which I'm with you, we needed to do something in January, we were desperate. But those names you've mentioned, like Koulibaly and Vlahovic, would they have done better than Marino with what we saw?
Maybe not. But you know what? If the manager acts accordingly, you can't get upset with the actions. That's my thing. If the club showed ambition, it didn't matter if it flopped. I would have said, at least you tried. Like, I want to see you try. And if you don't try, I'm disheartened as a fan because I give you everything. I give you 110%. I expect you to give me 110% as my club, right? I want to see you win. I want to see you be ambitious. And that, for me, is what the issue is. It's not about who we got. I agree. Maybe those players wouldn't have been better than what we had, but I wanted to show ambition. At least try. At least put up a fighting spirit. We didn't do that. We gave up. In February 3rd, we said, nah, we're going to go with what we have. We're going to try our best. Real Arsenal fans knew that, look, beating Madrid was great, but it was we had too many problems. It's not just a striker. We don't have a backup right winger, and we don't have a creative attacking midfielder. If Odegaard is not performing, we have nothing. We cannot create chances. All we do is go, to our left winger, right winger, cross the ball to nobody in the box, and we repeat that. That's why we struggle to create chances against big teams like PSG, and they outmuscled us. It's because we can't create as much as them, and we're not clinical. Simple.
Fair. I'm liking the rebuttal. Like, do you not feel it's just a case of signings, or do you feel like it's more than just that? And what I mean by that is, let's just assume we've got Gyokeres, Nico Williams, whatever have you. Is everything happy as Larry, or for you lot, is there stuff for all three of you? Actually, is there stuff Mikel Arteta's got to do?
Is there stuff Mikel Arteta's got to do? There's stuff everyone's got to do. No one's doing anything, DG. That's the problem. But calm down. It's only the 13th of June. Don't worry though. It's not the 13th of June for Liverpool who's making 5 signings. Not the 13th of June for Man City who's making 4 or 5 signings. What about Manchester United? Not the 13th of June for them. But we've been told to calm down because we're impatient. Bruv, our club's a fucking mess, mate. It's an absolute shambles. Why on the 13th of June have we got Kariba Azabalaga, whatever the hell his name is? Who knows? Who cares?
Why not?
Innit? Who knows? Who cares?
That's a great piece of business. That's a great piece of business.
I'm done with the Chelsea reject. So why does no one learn? The last 7 we've signed have been absolute trash.
Yeah, I hear that.
But this one will be different. When I make a point, although it may sound as unfair, I've usually got history to back me. And whilst we can't use all the other players' history as a reference for how Kepa Arrizabalaga is going to do at Arsenal Football Club, I'm just sick and tired of us signing Chelsea rejects, to be fair. Oh, look, it's only 5 million quid. Whatever, I'm done with that. It is what it is. I'm more concerned with why Arsenal are pissing around with Sesko. What's the deal with that? It's been 5 years. Hold on 1 second, mate. It's 5 years. 5 years down the line, yeah? 5 years we've waited for a striker. And you're telling me that Sesko's the striker we've waited for? What the hell are we doing here at this football?
We'll get on to Sesko, man. Eric, cool off, man. We'll get on to Sesko.
I'm not cooling off, brother. But listen, mate, I'm not a happy bunny, as you could probably tell.
Trust me, trust me. We're going to speak about Sesko and that, but go on.
I don't know what we're doing in terms of signings anyway. I don't know where the standards of this football club have gone, man. There's a difference between why other people are wearing this season's kits and I'm wearing a 2002 with Patrick Vieira on the back with champions on my wrist. That's because that's what standards I hold. I have these standards. Premier League champions 0102 with Paddy on the back. That's the standards I hold. We are a million miles away from them standards, bruv. Light years. And if anyone seems to think that we're close, then that's bullshit. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. You don't win a trophy. It's not the Olympics, DG. It's not the Olympics. You don't get anything for finishing second. You get nada. And for those that go, but we competed for the title and was only 5 points behind, and then we was only 2 points behind. Yeah, now we were 10 points behind. So we're getting worse. So it was a regression. That's why we have regressed.
I agree with that. Are we really a million miles away, Aaron?
We got 2 quarterfinal trophies though. Don't get semi-finals.
Don't forget beating City as well.
Yeah. And the XG trophy against PSG. Don't forget about that. We got the XG trophy. That's 3 of them. So how many trophies do we have this year? About 7 or 8? I don't know. We had a successful season this year apparently. But what we did do this season is we found our level, and it ain't a semi-final of a competition. Why? Because we got humiliated 2-0 at home against Newcastle. We got humiliated 2-0 away against Newcastle. So semi-final of that competition weren't our level. Even though we qualified for it, we was embarrassed in every single leg of that.
Not be our level.
But we weren't at the level because we were taking the piss out of. We were taking the piss out of.
Yeah,
we played 4 4 semi-final games and we lost 4. We lost 4 in the Champions League.
Yeah, that was.
I was at the Emirates. In my season ticket, I was sat there, North Bank, like that, and after 3 minutes, the Champions League semi-final was done. Bye, see you, ta-la, bon voyage, sayonara, fuck off. Next season, Arsenal, don't worry about it. We'll just pay 1,500 quid next year, and we'll just all pretend that everything's okay again, shall we? That's what we do as a fan base, isn't it? We've got a major hole over there. Oh, well, plaster will do it. Don't worry about it. We got heart surgery, but just put a little plaster over it. It'll be fine. A bit of gaffer tape. Don't worry, that'll hold it all together. Don't worry. What are we doing here? Come on, man. We were humiliated in all 4 games. We lost all 4 legs. We're not close. We lost for the 3rd round. The only time we've got on the 4th round of the FA Cup when we played Oxford and Crystal Palace. We played Manchester United at home and lost against. We're further away than we have been for the last few years. I'll tell you that. We're so far away, bruv. We're so far away. Everyone thinks we're close. Guess what? We're having a summer, yeah. We're having a summer. We're like, oh, we need a striker and we need a winger. We were saying the same thing last summer. What did we go and do?
What's the timeline?
What's the timeline? 3 years ago. 3 years ago. Salah, manager, you're shit. You can't win anything. He's entered 19 competitions since winning the FA Cup, and how many has he won? None. He's failed in all 19 of them. All 19 of them. How long does it take to win a Premier League? Every single manager, and I've gone through this with you before, bruv. Every single manager since the Premier League's inception, every single one of them, it takes 2.1 years to win the Premier League title. Why are we waiting 5.5 years for Mikel Arteta to not win it? Ridiculous.
Manager after
absolutely ridiculous.
But then how far
Alex Ferguson won it in his 6th season, but he also won the League Cup, the FA Cup, and 2 European trophies in between. And he also won it with We also won the Scottish stuff with Kilmarnock. Not Kilmarnock, I think it might be St Mirren. Either way, he done it with Aberdeen. We're talking about a whole different plethora of trophies and manager in terms of quality with Alex Ferguson. So let's not compare this geezer. We are crap. We're miles away. I can't tell you. I ain't got a crystal ball. Nostradamus or my uncle. Do you know what I mean? I don't really know
what you know. So let's say from this point,
what I do know is 5 years and this manager don't win nothing, and he's getting further away from it. We've finished.
No, but for you, from this point today,
what are we going to do? We sign Calafiori. Do we need a striker? I'll tell you what we're going to do. We'll sign Miguel Marino. He done really well as an emergency striker. He done so well as an emergency striker. Maybe he'll be one of the options.
From this point, if we, in your head, we got rid of the gap.
How far we are away is irrelevant because under this manager we will not win big things. It's irrelevant. I'm telling you my answer. I'm telling my answer. It's null and void because under this manager we won't win anything. You're telling me the last summer was the most pivotal manager, the most pivotal summer window that we've had. We thought, we finished 2 points behind Manchester City. We're getting there. We're getting close. We're nearly there. Woohoo, rah rah. Hey, let's all get our willies out and go wang wang. Guess what happened? Oh, yeah, we signed Mikel Marino. Guess what happened? We signed Calafiori. And now what do we need? We need exactly the same this summer as we did last summer. It's a shit show. It's embarrassing. It's pointless. We might as well have just control alt and deleted the whole entire year. It's a waste of my time. Waste thousands of pounds spent following this club away and in Europe. We're getting further away. We're getting further away. We finished 22 goals we scored less in the league than we did last season. 14
draws,
draws, which was 2 more than we did in the last 2 seasons
And let's
combined.
not even talk about the
We're
losses
getting
from winning
further
positions.
away.
Man.
We're getting further away. Goal difference is worse. 15 points less than we did
but
last
also
season in
had,
terms
like,
of that.
more
We're
injuries
getting
than
far
last
away.
season as
Yeah,
well.
we had. That's what I was going to ask, Aaron. That's what I was going to ask you, Aaron. That's what I was going to ask you, Aaron. Right? It's like, in terms of the injuries that we had this season, do you think it played a factor, or do you still think that with the injuries that we had, that we still should have won the league?
Mikel Arteta caused most of the injuries.
Fair.
That's
Mikel Arteta caused, and I'll tell you what. I'll tell you why he caused most of the injuries, because it's all about squad building and squad rotating, right? So we all knew that he needed to sign at least one striker and one winger. Yeah, we needed 2, so we didn't sign any. So we were 2 behind from the moment we started. Then, whether you like it or not, he also let out whether you agree with the signings or not. ESR, Nelson, Vieira, and Eddie Nketiah. Whether you like them or not is irrelevant. They all went. So that means we were 6 minus. He brought Raheem Sterling, but he refused to play Raheem Sterling. And when we were drawing and winning in most games, and brought on defenders. So that's also an irrelevant. So we're 6 behind. So guess what happens? Okay, so we've got a small forward line of about 5 players. Yeah, Martinelli goes injured. So what's the most common injury and theme, a reoccurring way you get hamstring injury? Oh yes, being overplayed. So now you get Martinelli gone. So that's 4. So then that means you have to overplay these geezers. Guess what happens then? Oh, yeah, Havertz gets injured. Guess what happens then when you have to overplay all these 3? Oh, yeah, Saka gets injured. And then we're all wondering why that we're getting the same recurring injury. It's not conspiracy. It's not rocket science. He's overplaying the geezers. But guess what happens? He's not rotating them or adequately at all. He doesn't rotate players. We were 7-1 up in the first leg of the Champions League, and he started the first team again against PSV. Yeah, that's an absolute fact. Even at 9-3 up at half time, he still kept Gabriel Magalhaes out there. Oh, guess what happens 10 days later? Magalhaes gets an injury. Why didn't he rotate him out? Why did he start him? Why did he play him for 90 minutes? This manager kills players with poor lack of squad rotation and squad building. If we had 4 other players in there, we'd have been able to cope with them injuries. Maybe we'd have got 1 or 2 less. If he actually in-game managed them a lot better, maybe rotate them a little bit better, we probably would have had less injuries. Either, it don't make no difference. He has helped. Regardless of whether he's 100% of fault is irrelevant. He has contributed 150% to the fact that this Arsenal Football Club have got a lot of injuries. Why are they all the same injuries? Why are they? Why are they all the same injuries?
Where do you stand on that?
It's contributed to it.
See, I'll ask this, right? I completely agree with what you just said there, right? But I'm going to play a little bit of a devil's advocate right now.
Yeah, you go.
Right?
Listen, you free, do your thing.
Is that Tottenham, obviously, shocker of a season, right? Despite them winning the Europa League, well done to them, but shocker of a season due to the same factor of injuries, right? The fact that we had so many injuries that you just named there, due to Arteta not rotating the squad, so on and so forth, don't you think we actually did quite well finishing second with those injuries, with not getting a striker, with our squad building not being as in depth that we want it to be?
I would rather not look at what we did and what we didn't. Well, like what we did, well done. We didn't win anything. What we didn't do is my pressing concern as to why we didn't win something, not what we achieved, what we did, which was we achieved nothing, by the way.
But if you can't
we finished second, who cares? What's the difference between second and fifth? About 4 million quid. No one cares. What's the difference between finishing in the semi-final and in the quarter-final or whatever? No one cares. No one cares. Who was in the semi-final of the Champions League 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago? No one gives a toss, mate. No one does. No one does. Everyone only cares about the winner. So we didn't do anything. So what I look at is, why didn't we win? Why didn't we win? What didn't we do to win? We had a poor, pathetic, embarrassing, shambolic of a transfer window. That's exactly what we've done. And we've got an absolute poor, pathetic, useless manager spearheading the whole thing. It's a shambles. And we brought Berta in. What's Berta doing? Oh, we're going to get on to Berta. We'll just give Arteta his signings anyway. What's the point in him then? He's got his feet up. His job is for Berta. Oh, yeah, well, Sesko, that's been in the line for about a year. So is Zubimendi. Why none of them done yet? Why are other clubs confirming brand new mega money signings when we've apparently had these in the wings for about the last year and we still can't get them over the line? What's Berta done then? What's he changed?
Well, Zubimendi's already done.
Just let Arteta have his way.
Zubimendi's already done, firstly, and secondly, like within 13 days, you can't expect that. I hear you, by the way, and I've had that feeling that you're talking about beyond Andrea Berta. I mean, Arsenal's never been that team, right? When I see other teams announce on their club,
neither is Liverpool, and they've got Wirtz done for 120
No,
million.
I know, but there's
Why are
different
they
things
able
that
to
you're
do
talking about, right? There's things where clubs are actually announcing even before a transfer window is open, and I'm like, why doesn't Arsenal do that? So yes, you're right, we don't do that, and also you're right, like the window's been open and other teams have signed other players where we have been linked with all these players for so long, and we haven't got, like, you expect that they were already going to be through the door. Unfortunately, that's not how transfers work, right? Like, it takes time. There has to be negotiations. I hear what you're saying, though. We've done all the pre-work, so it is frustrating, but that's also not how business works. It's not like within a click of the finger,
but
right?
why does it work that way for everyone else? Why is it working that way for Liverpool? Why is it working that way for Man City? But you're taking the point of it.
Right?
You're taking the point of it doesn't work that way for Arsenal, but everyone else is doing it. So you can't use that as saying that's not how transfer works. Maybe that's just not how it works at Arsenal, and that's the problem. That's what I'm saying.
Maybe
if it doesn't just work like that at Arsenal, then there is a problem at Arsenal. No,
not necessarily. Again, I think it's very
well. Other clubs are getting the better of us. Why are Liverpool able to get Wirtz? Why are Manchester City able to get Reinders and Cherky over the line then?
Because they're easier deals to do.
But that's not how transfers are done.
Man.
Brand new. They're brand
South
new.
African Gooner, do you think fans are panicking?
Yeah, I think he's overreacting, to be honest.
I'm not overreacting.
Not necessarily Aaron, just because he's sharing the sentiment with everyone.
I think the stuff on the Andrea Berta and not like if fans are crying about not signing someone already, like honestly, like you haven't been through enough Arsenal windows to you, like your expectations are just out there, bro. Like, come on. We know we don't sign anyone.
I'm frustrated. I'm Bill Murray, bruv. I'm like Bill Murray.
And that's why I said I hear what you're saying.
Babe. Groundhog season again.
You want to see the club sign players earlier, which I agree, and I can't disagree with. But my expectation wasn't for us to have already signed players already, man. Like, and talking shit about Andrea Berta in like 2 weeks already is like it's just over the top for me. I mean,
why can I not criticize him though? He's an employee of Arsenal Football Club.
You can criticize him, but I think it's not very intelligent to be criticizing someone in their role for freaking 2 weeks, man. Like, I wouldn't be criticizing you in a new role for 2 weeks. That expectation is a bit harsh in my opinion.
He does come in with a good reputation.
He's not a freshman. He's not a freshman, brother. He's a 50, 60-year-old man with experience.
I know.
But he doesn't need his handheld, does he?
Bro,
he don't need his handheld. Here's the football club. Here's the dog. Here's the dog. Here's the toilet there, Berta, in case you need to do poo-poo.
How actual organizations work. Like, this is an actual business and entity. Not just because you want stuff to be done tomorrow doesn't mean that that's how it works. And just because that's how it is in your mind,
it just works for everyone else though, and not for us.
But again, I'm using that as an example, and I've given you your props. I agree with you. I've had that frustration as well. But again, like, we're not the only club that hasn't done anything. And yes, of course, I want my club to have done things. But I also know that the deals that we're trying to do are much more complicated than someone like Cherky, who was trying to get out of there since January, which the club are trying to just get rid of blatantly. And Cunha as well. Like, all these deals are not, they're much simpler than the ones we're doing. Like Nico Williams, like Gyokeres. Okay, I agree on the Sesko one. It should be easier.
We've had a year head start though.
I know, but it's only June 17th, bro.
We need to. That's what I'm under.
June 17th for everyone else.
Listen, Aaron, I completely agree with you, mate. Right, like in terms of frustration, in terms of I want things done now, right? In terms of how we ended the season, right? In terms of from being in winning positions and then losing or drawing. Right, I'm with you, but I think we need to calm down. There's a lot of complex deals where clubs like RB Leipzig, and you're seeing it with Sporting Lisbon, they're driving up the price. Right, Viktor Gyökeres was supposed to have a gentleman's agreement with the player, and then all of a sudden that went completely tits up. Right, so they're clearly playing a bit of politics in these transfer windows. So I think personally, I agree with you. I'm frustrated. I'm sure every other Arsenal fan is frustrated, but I want us to just calm down a little bit. Like my bro said there, 2 weeks in a job, you still need to get yourself sort of accustomed to the surroundings, to the environment. How does the club operate? Okay, cool. One of the first things that I can say, I don't know if you guys agree. I know Aaron already spoke about it already, but I believe we made a good decision in not signing Joan Garcia for 25 million. And potentially keeping that 25 million and spending it on the attacking force that we need, right? Because I'm under the impression that people keep talking about we need just a number 9. We don't just need a number 9. We need a number 9. We need a winger, preferably a winger that can play on both sides.
We need another Cam.
We need another Cam.
Yeah,
we ain't getting no Cam though, man.
We're not. Not this summer.
You know what? The reason why I believe that we might right, is because you're starting to see us getting linked with the likes of Morgan Rogers. I know it's a little bit far-fetched right now, but you're starting to see the type of players that we're getting linked with. Kudus, he's another one that can play in that position. They're very, very
Then why
versatile.
don't we go for Turkey, right? That's my thing. I hear you, by the way. And I think we're going to leave it till next summer. But then again,
because he doesn't want to upgrade on Odegaard.
I'm like,
probably
well,
someone that can fill in,
right
which he
there,
probably
like,
have one.
See,
30 mil.
I personally think, as much as people think that Nwaneri is going to be Saka's backup, I think he's actually Odegaard's backup.
Interesting. Well, what about Dauman then? That's what I was thinking. But then Dauman is going to be.
He's too
young.
He's too young. He won't be able to play.
He'll be involved, but just cool, man.
Odegaard's not going to get dropped much, right? He's going to play all the games. So
he's the most sub captain and most subbed Arsenal player in the last 3 years, Martin Odegaard.
In the second half, but he's not going to get subbed for another attacking mid.
But when he gets subbed, he doesn't. Arteta don't even bring on Nwaneri anyway. We've seen that all last year.
But apparently, when do you remember when Nwaneri actually started playing the games and when
he just needs to get up.
He was complaining that he was literally complaining that the games were too much in terms of the.
But where did we hear that? Because I heard that too, but I don't know how much I don't know if that was just made up and then excuses.
Do you know what? I'll say this. I'll say this, right? Is that every single player in history that you start them too young and they play so many matches, they end up getting really, really injured in their 20s. Yeah. This is why I'm scared about Lamine Yamal, for example. Like the amount of games, the amount of minutes that this guy's playing at 16, 17 years old, your body's still growing. Absolutely. So I think the same for Nwaneri. Yeah. The fact that Skulls
literally is, he's 18.
Yeah. The fact that Skelly's doing it, he's a genetic freak because you're not used to seeing that.
Look at Wilshere, bro. Wenger done it to Wilshere, man.
Yeah,
that's a great example. He was finished with 20.
Great example.
He should have had that.
Can we go back to that previous comment? And that's what we were talking about.
Which one?
The one before this one.
Was it this?
Yeah, the fear is there. This is what we're talking about. I hear this, and we've experienced this, and this is why he's frustrated, because we have this fear that we're going to get Sterling again, and we're going to get another Chelsea reject. Like, all these fears are normal, but I think it's just too early. Like, if we were like the mid of July and then we were having this conversation right now, I'd be freaking out. I'd be pissed.
The problem is, though, is the 13th very quickly becomes the 20th.
I know.
Becomes the 27th.
But
mid-July, very quickly, bro.
Listen, I know. Like, you're probably speaking from history, right? Things have happened, right? But again, I think that, do you know why I'm at peace now is because there's two things now. I'm still Arteta in, right? So if it gets to the point where July, we're not signing anyone, it gets to the end of the season, we're making these rash signings, then the writing's on the wall.
Yeah, you don't even give him the season to start. You don't even give him the season to start, bro.
They'll give him the season to start.
They're not going to do but we shouldn't.
He's on
you know what?
But they'll probably give him to like maybe before.
Who suffers, bro?
I don't even think that.
Who suffers, bro? We suffer. We suffer. Do you know what? One of the most painful thing I had to do for the 8th, 9th, I think, time in a row, I had to give Arsenal Football Club 1,500 quid for my season ticket, and I already knew what they were doing. Why do I have to do that? That's a painful transaction for me.
Do you know?
I'm not going to lie. That's a lot of money. I've got two young kids, bruv. I sacrifice thousands of pounds every year, and I also sacrifice a lot of time spent with my family, my two young kids.
And more than anything, emotionally.
Emotions and time and energy. You could be doing something else.
I've been here, done this. I've got the T-shirt. I've listened to this record. I've read this book. This DVD's got so many scratches that don't even play anymore. Do you know what I mean? I've been here, bruv. Come on, man. I'll
say this. I'll say this, right? Before, I didn't want to get an Arsenal season ticket before Arteta. I didn't want to go to those matches getting pumped 6-0 because I was there. I was there getting pumped 6-0. I was there where we were getting taken the piss out of, right? Yeah. I was there when the Emirates wasn't even a fortress, right? Poor, absolutely poor, getting spanked for the first time in over. I know people want to compare 16-17 where we come second to Leicester. I don't even say that because we were 10 points behind Leicester City.
And we didn't beat the big teams.
And we didn't beat the big teams, right? Yeah. And this is the first time in over 20 plus years I could look at my club and be like, oh, okay, cool. Do you know what? We're actually in the contention of winning trophies. I actually wanted to spend that 1,700 on the season ticket for the last 3-4 seasons. You know, so I get the frustrations. But we've come a long way.
And we're talking about urgency in this comment, and it's funny because we've signed 2 players for 2 positions technically, and I know it's not the 2 positions we should have signed.
Is it technically though? Because to us fans, we ain't seen no shirt.
But we know that
the Emirates.
we know that Zubimendi is done, and we know that Kepa is pretty much just when we want to pull the plug. And also, people don't understand, and something we haven't talked about is that July is the reset of the financial year. So also we're just talking here like this, but like there's accounting and there's different things. Again, I told you organizations work very differently than what we fans want. And by the way, I'm a fan like you, so I also I'm not patient. I also want it like you, but I also try to like take a step back and remind myself that like at the end of the day, it's a business, it's an organization, there's steps, there's strategy, there's many people involved, and we've said that we're not going to sign anyone until July so we can put it into next year's books so that we can spend more. And everyone forgets.
So at what point do you panic then?
We haven't signed anyone. It's June, bro. Like the club is showing.
So what point do you lot panic then? Because I can understand what you lot are saying is facts. Be patient, all of that stuff. But there are fans that might feel like you lot and like, yeah, I'll be patient. But then you just have to go back 12 months. You still will be done on deadline day. So at what point are you like, oh, we need to get a move on?
By the end of June,
June the 26th?
If we haven't started making bids, then
I agree.
June, we gotta start putting the
because Arteta was very bullish about this transfer window. Berta's come in and helped the optimism. We have to deliver this summer. Realistically, we should have done this last year, but we're at where we're at. This summer can't go wrong.
So you're saying 2 weeks, yeah? I'm going to hold you to that.
Yeah.
I believe. Listen,
2 weeks then, yeah. End of June. I'm going to hold you to that.
End of June, Aaron. End of June, my bro.
Yeah.
If we're not seeing any more bids, because I don't know if the bid for Gyokeres is actually a real bid or maybe like a indirecting bid. An indirecting bid. Right?
I'm sorry, on that one, apparently it's not even an indirect bid because Charles Watts was saying that if it was an indirect bid, then people in Arsenal would be able to confirm, people on our side would be able to confirm that this has happened, but because we can't, it means it's from his camp or it means it's from Portugal.
Okay.
We better not be moving no goalposts, though. That's what I'm saying. No goalposts. There's no new excuses in 2 weeks' time. Friday the 27th, I'm going to go 2 weeks' time.
Not the 27th.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. Aaron, on Friday the 27th.
Oh, was it the 28th or the 31st? Oh, yeah. Or the 2nd. You know, it's only a couple of days.
No.
Moving
We're under the same consensus.
It's not about the specific day. It's about the intention. Like we already
End
know
of June.
next week. We should already see a bid for Sesko, even if it's rejected. Like we need to see the bid. If I see the bid, then I'm like, okay,
I'm past the bids. I just want to see players.
I'm sick. You know, I'm sick of because you know it's been the last 2 months.
Ours is drama. I think it's drama.
It's been the last 2 months that Sesko this, Sesko that. Representative are in for another talks. Representative in for another talks. I'm tired of seeing bids.
I thought Bert was coming in to speed this process up, though. Why is it not spit out?
We haven't even bid yet. And
exactly. Why have we not bid yet? Why have we not bid yet?
You know why
Bert was coming to speed this up.
I'll explain to you why we haven't bid. We haven't bid because we had an agreement with them in January that we would come back this summer.
So why not already done then?
Because the price has changed.
It's changed. Yeah, the price has changed.
So do you not think if Arsenal Football Club had a clue what they were doing, they'd have signed him last summer and then loaned him back out?
I didn't
think if Arsenal Football Club knew what they do.
I wasn't able to finish what I was trying to explain to you of the reason that you're asking for, which is why we haven't signed him, which is that he has a variable release clause, which has changed, and we are negotiating that. And also because of what's happening in the market, not only with Gyokeres and Verts, other teams are now starting to see that they can get more money based on what has already just happened. So now clubs are second guessing themselves in their original prices and saying, hey, there's no actual contract that says we need to do these things. We have these agreements, but actually we want this much. So they wanted 70 million. Now they want 75 million. And Arsenal is negotiating with both players, which we haven't done before, by the way, with Edu, with anyone. We never do a strategy like this where we're negotiating for 2 players and we're basically like, yo, if you don't shape up, we'll go get the other guy, right? That is great strategy for me, in my opinion, and
that's
why we haven't
great strategy.
No, do you know?
Yeah,
you
you've already said that. But you already said negotiating deals beforehand. There's so much scope for moving the goalposts in terms of negotiation, transfer and things. What's the point then? Why would you just even not negotiate? So basically, you're saying we've just wasted all of our time.
The point is, Aaron, we've
just wasted our time on all these
You have to keep relationships with clubs because when it comes down to it, and they have to choose which club, if several clubs can offer the same amount of money in different payment structures, they will have a relationship with us. And we're hoping because we kept this good relationship with them, they're going to favor us when it comes down to it. And when it comes down to the wire and everyone's willing to pay the same amount, we will be chosen because of the way we've acted, because of the way we've moved. That is how I see it. It might not be the way it is, but that's why I say it's a
Is that
strategy.
the best way for you,
Definitely
though?
the
Because
way.
I hear what you're saying, gentlemen's and stuff, but at the end of the day, this is business. You put down the
you
money,
know-
you can
yeah,
get
yeah, I
whatever.
hear
If
that.
the player
Exactly
makes it
right,
clear,
bro.
I want to sign for Arsenal,
Absolutely.
that's all tosh
But
to a degree.
DG, we're also going to be very smart in our first bid. We're not going to put a first bid that we think is going to be accepted. Like, we're always cheap. We know how we are. We're going to try little.
No, that's business. You try and get it for less. That's cool. But
but
I'm more asking about the relationship thing.
We've
How
had
far
8
does-
months.
How far does that
What
really go?
we're negotiating by a carrier pigeon. So
But
like,
what
what we doing here?
We've been
Well, hold on. Ooh, we'll type a
Aaron.
little scrolling. We're going to send you 40 million for Sesko. Ooh, hopefully it comes back in 2027 or 28 or
But
something
that's
like that.
not how it works.
what are we
Again,
doing
like,
here?
you're gonna negotiate based on how you're gonna pay the structure. It's not negotiations that happen every single day. You
Right,
see
you're
it in
right.
the media every day. So you
How
see
much in
it
a transfer window? We don't do nothing, bro.
What we need to remember as well is that a striker is not the only player that we're going for, right? We're
Yeah,
linked
exactly.
with
That's
Rodrigo.
true.
We're linked with Rodrigo for like 90 million, and I think people need to remember as well is that first of all, this is not FIFA or FM, right?
Yeah.
In order for you to get players, there's the 70 million that you're paying. It's just the scratch of it. You need to pay agent fees. You need to pay signing on fees. You need to pay clauses. Those need to be negotiated as well, right? So
Berta's in now, though. Berta's in now, though.
Okay, but like my bro said there before, is that last season we were going for Sesko, didn't get Sesko. Yeah, he chose to stay,
for game
and we had
time.
nobody else, and we had nobody else, right? So now Berta's coming and be like, right, cool. The first thing, we're not going to spend 25 million on a goalkeeper. We're going to spend 5 million, right? That's the first thing. Second, Sesko, it's been historically proven that these guys like to play hardball. This is their generational talent that they think, right? So they want to make sure that they're getting the right price for it. But we also know, hey, these guys might flop us this season. Let's try and make sure that we're still talking to Gyokeres, building that bond, building that relationship, right? We don't need to be a case where Sesko flops. Now we're starting talking to Gyokeres, but there's other teams that's been talking to Gyokeres, and that relationship when it comes in, we're gone. We're banged for rights, right? Yeah. So we need to remember, as we just said there, we've got 4 or 5 players that we want to try to get there. If I go around the panel and ask you, how many players do you think we need? I say maybe
10.
3.
5.
I say 3 to 5.
Aaron, come on.
Goalkeeper, left back, right-sided centre back.
Goalkeeper.
We need another keeper. Yeah. So let's just say we got Kepa. Yeah. Let's just say we got Kepa. But either way, we need a centre window. Goalkeeper, left back, right-sided centre back.
Why another left back?
Why another left back?
Aaron, just say it first.
Because we've let the best left back at the club go for free. Zinchenko's going. Calafiori defends like Andre Santos. He's pathetic. And now we've got also.
Come on.
We do need a left back.
Have you ever seen a man being beat one-on-one like Calafiori? He can't defend for love nor money. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Well, like the very fact that Arsenal and Arteta came to this club and they spent about 200 million trying to resolve the left back and the goalkeeping department, and they had the best 2 there when they started.
Which is why I'm telling you we're not signing another left back.
Yeah, no, but that's irrelevant whether we are or not. It's the fact that we need one. Whether you think we will, whether we think we will or not, it's irrelevant. We need a left back. We also need a goalkeeper. We need a right side centre back.
Let him say his list first.
We also need a central defensive mid. We need another midfielder because Jorginho and/or Partey's gone. Yeah, there's 5. We need a backup right midfielder. We need a left midfielder. That's just facts. That's 7. We also need a cam. You've said it on stream. That's 8. Yeah. We also need about 2 strikers because the 2 that we've got is absolutely shit. They're absolutely crap. If you think Mikel Merino is going to be back up to Kai Havertz, who's absolutely shambolic, and Gabriel Jesus, you've got another thing coming, brother. We're not winning anything with that. Why? Because we ain't won anything with them.
I can see why this guy's so upset when he thinks we're going to sign 10 players. Of course,
I don't. No. Did I ever say that? I think we are going to sign. No. If you're going to quote me properly, my friend. I said we need 10 players. We need 10 players. I didn't say it. Yeah, well, it's not my expectations. It's we need 10 players.
No,
we also need to sell about 5 players. We also need to sell about
10 players.
You want 10 players. We don't need
Football Club need 10. Of course we do.
No, we do. You're telling me. You want 10 players.
Well, we do. Why 2-3 years ago when Bill Saliba got injured and we lost the league, and coincided with our poor form? Why have we not signed the right side of centre back? I bet you 2 are going to go, but Ben White's versatile. But you never flip the coin, do any of you?
No, we do need a centre back. We've been linked with Viktor Gyökeres, Howson, and
but we haven't got one. It's irrelevant whether we've been linked with them. We haven't signed one. That's the main thing. That was 2-3 seasons ago. Why have we not signed one? Oh, because we've got Ben White, he's versatile. But the problem is when your versatile man, flip the script, when he covers positions and he's injured, guess what? 2 positions ain't accounted for. Everyone forgets the other side of the coin, don't they? Everyone does. Why have we not signed that? Because either Arteta doesn't learn or it takes too long to learn.
Yeah, I think
why have we still got no right side of centre
back? Cool.
back?
Aaron said 10. Where are you lot at with the numbers?
No, so firstly on the stuff about Aaron, about what he's saying about the center back, I totally hear you. By the way, I think we lost the league because we had Holding, and I do blame Arteta because I don't think it's that we don't have the players. It's like, what you're saying is true, but sometimes that's not how the actual stuff works. Like, we can't just get rid of a player just because he's in our club. You can't just throw him out, right? So sometimes we make decisions because of bad decisions we've made, and like we know we have Holding, we know we have, you know what I mean, and then we don't buy that upgrade, and then Saliba gets injured, and then we're forced to play this guy, and Arteta trusts him, and I can't argue with that. I totally agree with you. That is mistakes that we've made, and we suffer for it. But for me, I mean, I only see a backup goalkeeper. I only see a backup winger. I see a striker, which is 3. I see Zubamendi, which is 4. And then the 5th player for me has to be the cam, right? It has to be an attacking player, but it could be another left back, as you said. I don't think so because we have, in my opinion, we have MLS, we have Calafiori, we have Timber.
There's no way you think we've got enough defensive depth.
Sorry, we do. We have. We're only going to get one defender.
You're going to learn the hard way.
You can't have Tomiyasu in there. Tomiyasu?
But he's still at the club.
Hold on, where is Tomiyasu?
My point is that while he's
I agree with you in terms of the numbers. Aaron's fine.
Where are you,
I agree with you the numbers, but we definitely need a defender.
I'm not going to go get a 5th guy.
Where are you, Tommy? You under the mic? Tomiyasu, where are you?
Tommy, I need you fit. No, but when you break it down, Calafiori picks up Knox, Tommy picks up Knox, Zinni's gone anyways. Calafiori, he's missed 100 days. We probably need another defender, and we're linked with a lot.
Then you got to sell another one because we can't bring a center back and a left back when you have so many defenders.
I think ideally you want a Timber Tomiyasu kind of versatile type, but I think there's scope for both of them. But our priorities for me is up front. But they're all priorities. I think we need to get it all done. But I think everyone here, we will all probably disagree. Everybody wants a 9 in it. Probably everyone wants a left wing. Everyone probably wants central midfield addressed. I personally, Kepa, it is what it is. Probably need a defender or defenders. But generally, for me, probably, if it was up to me, I think we need a lot more. But I'd say anything from 4 to 6. If we're serious about getting over the line in the Premier League, I think we need 4 to 6. I think we need 3 level raisers immediately into that starting 11. And then the rest is about depth. Whether we're going to do this, I don't know.
See,
another thing that we're talking about, just putting the money. When you put the money, it also increases and it has a rolling effect on other transfers that you have because people see that you have money, right? So I think that's small. There's so many small things that we're not we don't put all of it together. We just think isolation. Like, oh, where's the striker? Where's the striker? Like, where is he? Is June 13th? Where's my?
I hear you, but the club have left themselves no ground. They have to do all of this.
Yeah, they have to.
They have to address all these areas.
Part of me as a fan is like, why get upset? Why, like, Arteta is he's digging his own grave. This is it now. There's no more excuses. No, it's the board. This is it. Whoever he gets, that's why I don't get upset. You want Sesko? Okay, I see the potential, but if you're gonna die on the hill, whatever hill you're gonna die on this hill. I know I've said this, but you don't know me.
Like Sesko.
You and I have just met now, so I'm very balanced. I'm gonna say how it is. Yes, this is Arteta's last season. Yes. Whoever he signs, there's no excuses. He has to win with these players, and it has to be the Premier League or the Champions League. League Cup, FA Cup is not good enough this season.
No, you go, mate.
So like, I want to jump in on the point you've quite rightly made as well. It's about him dying on the hill and things like that. One, it's a very small point I want to inject in is, so we're just expected to waste another year. That's very frustrating. But two, it's worrying that this season, just like last summer, I'll actually agree with you on the point. We see 2 seasons ago, we signed Declan Rice for 105 million, Kai Havertz and Yurin Timber, and it crippled us in this market. Yeah. So the point I'm going to make is Arsenal crippled because we had to make a 10 million pound profit this summer, didn't we? We only signed Calafiori and Marino. It kind of did if we made a profit. Like we didn't chose
to. I don't know if we chose to or we had to. It's very different.
I do think there was a remit by the Cronkies to get some money coming in, if I'm honest, because of the spending. I do agree with that. That's why I think it was not important.
Let's just take the but we made money though. We could have spent a lot more money. Is my point. Let's just say we do that again this summer, and you're like, oh yeah, well either way we live and die by the sword. Let's just say, for argument's sake, we signed Sesko, 70-80 million transfer fees, near on irrelevant to my point.
Yeah.
So he comes through the door. We get a winger through, whoever that may be, whether it be a Rodrigo, whether it be Williams. Let's just say it's 60 million.
Yeah.
Whatever. Let's just say it's a Williams. I don't want him. Let's just say we get Williams next summer. What do you reckon that's going to do? Do you reckon that if this Sesko doesn't work. And this is why it's critical that we get our transfers right. And we don't know whether he's going to bang or not. We all actually don't. But we've got statistical likeliness. We've got statistical likeliness. We don't know who would be better.
Yes.
But I would rather the geezer that got 89 league goals over the geezer that got 43 league goals in the last 3 seasons. That's even nearer there to my point either. Just very quickly.
Whole other conversation.
That's why I said we're talking about Gyokeres and Sesko. Just let him finish.
So the point I'm trying to make is, so that's all well and good. What's going to happen next year then? Let's just say Sesko doesn't work out, and we let this manager, who's got a really poor track record in transfer windows, by the way, last 5 years, most of them have been crap signings. He's signed 27 permanent players, and I could probably name you about 5 I'd keep. I'll probably name you about 5 I'd keep. There you go. So I mean, we're not looking at that means about 1 in 6 he gets right. So if we need 6 signings this summer, well, maybe only 1 will get right. So what happens next summer?
Harsh, dude.
All right. So out of all the 27, who's the ones you'd keep? Timber, Gabriel, Thomas Partey,
Saka.
He didn't sign Saliba. He didn't sign Saliba. He didn't sign Saliba.
Exactly right.
David Raya. David Raya. We got anyone else? Ben White. There we go. There's 5. Now have you noticed everyone's scratching? Odegaard's crap, mate. He's
It can be crap, man. He's regressed every single season. Either way, he can definitely be a squad player. There's so much man.
Has he or has he not regressed every single season? So
say that again.
He's got worse every single season. 2 seasons ago, he scored 15 goals, and he got 11 and 10 assists. He looked rather crap. This season is absolutely shambles. He's fell off of a cliff and into an infinite mountain. Absolutely shambolic. Absolutely shambolic. He's made about 5. Let's just give you Odegaard then and say 6. 6 and 27. Well done. We can name 6 and 27. Well done, everyone. 6 and 27. That's poor statistics. What I'm trying to say is next summer, if this new manager comes in and then he goes, oh shit, all right, well, I've got all these players. So we've got Kai Havertz on 280k a week with 2 years left on his deal. Anyone going to be paying 65 million for us, bailing him out? Oh no, he's on 280k a week. What about Jesus? 265k a week. What about Odegaard? 240k a week. What we're doing here, Martinelli, who's also regressed the last 2 years, 180k a week. We've got Mikel Merino on 130k a week. Zinchenko's on 150k a week. He stopped playing Zinchenko for the last 2 years. Why is he still here? Oh, yeah, because no one wants to pay 150k a week for his wages. It's not difficult. And we had this in 2019.
It hasn't been 2 years.
Kolasinac, Bellerin, Socrates, Mustafi. 2 years for who?
It hasn't been 2 years.
Who?
Zinchenko won.
Zinchenko.
It is.
He hasn't been really, isn't it? 18 months, 2 years. Either way, he's been ostracised out the club for a very long time. But no one wants to pay his wages. Why didn't he go to Borussia Dortmund last year? Oh, yeah, because they don't want to pay 150 for his wages.
And we're hearing that again now.
We're making because we can't negotiate deals. We're crap.
I want to say this.
But Berta's here now.
Although Zinchenko is obviously, not the best right now, right? But when he first came, he did change our squad, no? Gabriel Jesus, before he got injured, he did change our squad, no? Absolutely. Right? So I think right now is that although the players that are currently where they're at now, they're no longer the type of players that we need, because I think we've gone another level above them, right? But you cannot say at the time bringing in Jesus, Zinchenko, that we weren't all gassed. The season after, bringing in Declan Rice, like you said, Timber and Havertz, we weren't all gassed, right?
Why did we outgrow them after a year, though? Why are we signing players we outgrow after a year? And let's not forget, we signed Jesus 3 years ago. And we only got 1 month in the squad, Aaron.
Can I answer that?
And our team moving forward.
So what do we do? Spend 80 million over 5 years on the forward line?
No. The reason why we've gone another level is because I don't think we actually expected to be at this level. I don't know about you guys.
We didn't expect to be at this level after 5 years.
What do you think we're dining at a table? They didn't think we'd be here.
What level's that?
The time we signed Zinchenko and Jesus, I thought, wow, this is our level, right? I thought that they were going to take us to the next level. I did not expect, especially with Zinchenko coming in and being a game changer, doing that inverted role. Gabriel, before he got injured. Yeah, before he got injured.
That first title challenge. Okay. That's what I mean. I think the club think we're at a table we're not built for.
Let's say I agree with you then, yeah? You're talking facts, right? Let's say I agree with you. So if we sign them and they raise the level, then why haven't we signed any players that raise the level from them in the last 2 years?
This is where the club is complacent now.
This is our problem now. This is our problem, right? This is our problem, right? We need to get to a point now where, like I said, is that although I still believe that Arteta is still the right guy, right? The writing's on the wall now.
Yeah.
Right? If he doesn't by June, and he's making these bids. He's not making these bids, and by the time the season starts, and he's not making any bids, then we're like, okay, cool. Do you know what? You've made your bid. We're just gonna sit here until you get sacked.
Yeah. And if it doesn't happen, then that's when the fans are going to turn. And
exactly. That's when it's going to turn toxic.
Yeah.
That's when it's going
To be fair, though, Arteta and Arsenal, they've survived darker times with the fans.
No, I promise you, I don't
know.
It will be the darkest time if this doesn't go the way we want.
It really will. Because
all right, let me ask both of you this question. Yeah, obviously, just in terms of where we finished. Yeah, just imagine we fast forward a year and we've gone out the FA Cup in similar stances to Man United. We finished second again. We've got to a semi-final or 2 semi-finals in the Champs in the League Cup. Just all of that, literally what we did this year, next year. Do you lot genuinely think Arteta is getting sacked by Kroenke?
No, not
all of the fan noise.
Not by the board, but the fans will make sure the fans will start. And
they would have got Champions League.
Rise to the point where they're gonna have to pull the trigger.
That's the thing is that, you know what, they see this as a business, right? That's fine. But we the fans, we're passionate, right? The reason why we even having this conversation is because we want our team to be where they want it to be. But I'm telling you now, if he has the same type of season this season, you're gonna start seeing fans no longer buying season tickets because they don't believe in the hope no more. Right?
No, but there's equally fans. Sorry to cut you, but there's equally fans that I'm not saying you can't believe in Arteta or not believe in him, because I think all of you are balanced. You bring your reasons, but there's people that just commit to hating on Donny, and there's also people that are Arteta sexuals. Yeah, he has a cult following. Do you genuinely feel, because it's in the stadiums as well? Aaron's been there. Like, I've been there. For every person that's asking questions, there's better them. Do you really think he's going to get sacked? Because they've survived darker times, you know.
That's the thing. Do you know what? Whilst I do agree, it becomes a fan base type of thing where the board will keep him. That's fine. Keep Arteta. But now you're going to start seeing the fans no longer wanting to be that guy that actually, supports Arteta no more. It's past that.
No, but it's more than that, man. Because remember, we'll empty stadiums. It will be it'll be
exactly.
It'll grow. It's not even like, I don't think it's not even as far as you guys think. And we're speaking as if it's far. It's not even that far. I told you, if we don't sign the right players by the end of the window, it's already gonna start. And then we start dropping points in the first few games of the season, and it's like a snowball effect.
Did you see the end of last season? Did you see the end of last season where you're looking at the stadium? I'm in the stadium and I'm seeing a few empty seats, right?
Yeah, this is copy and paste last season, though. We were saying this summer.
Yeah, he is. Of course,
last summer. We're saying the same thing. Do you not think that there is a very realistic realm of possibilities where we're both sat here on the 13th of June, 2026, going, well, if only Arsenal sign a striker and a winger, we'll probably be all right.
No. It's a different alternative. It's a different alternative. That's why
this last year.
That's why I asked the question.
Yeah, that's why I'm telling you now, right? If no bids are made by the end of June, the fan base, you see this fan base panicking already, and it's only the 13th of June. It's gonna get so toxic. It's gonna get so toxic.
Yeah, but don't you not think Berta will be thrown under the bus then? If that's the case, if people will say, "Oh, you come in with the Atletico stuff and you ain't made nothing happen."
No, wait, can I say something? You know why I say no? Because it's very clear and obvious what's happening. Arteta's, he's such a stubborn man. You can see clearly he's going to go get all the players that he waited to not pull the trigger on, and he's going to try and prove everyone, this is why we didn't sign anyone. This is why I didn't get the striker in the summer.
The detriment of Arsenal Football Club.
Those above him with his comments after the season.
He's a stubborn man at the detriment of Arsenal Football Club.
Yeah, sure, sometimes. But let's Aaron.
I'll tell you why it's a detriment of Arsenal Football Club, because we haven't won anything for the last 5 years.
Yeah, but he's also brought us here to compete, right? So, you have to be balanced. It's both sides. Yes, there is
compete. What did we compete with? We after 5 games and after 10 games, we were 2 points beyond Liverpool. Didn't spend one day on top of the Premier League. After 10 games, we were 7 points. After 15 games, 7 points. After 27, 30, 25, 7, 37. Then it went to 15. Then it finished at 10. We didn't compete for the Premier League last year. We were nowhere near it. We made the semi-final with the Champions League all well and good. We lost both legs. We lost it after 3 minutes. After 180 minutes. Yes, we did. I was sat there in my own seat. We went 1-0 down and we didn't make a whimper. We lost it after 3 minutes, bruv. We lost every single semi-final, four games. We lost every single one of them.
First leg.
We found our level. And it's the quarter-final. That's our level. If you're going to lose all of your games in the semi-final, maybe the semi-final ain't your level and the quarter-final is.
When was the last time we was in the semi-final?
Of a Champions League.
It was against Manchester United in 2009. That's all well and good.
That sounds like 18 years ago.
One thing I agree with you, Aaron. the performance.
Did we win it? Did we win it in 2009? No.
No,
we didn't. So who cares?
But the thing is, at least that's the last one we got there, right? Since then, we've never ever got.
We win it.
I'll say this. No, yeah, we didn't. We didn't.
Who cares then?
I'll say this, right? The fact that we got to a semi-final, beat Real Madrid without a striker, by the way, and with all those injuries, right?
Whose fault was it we didn't have a striker?
Again, bro.
Yeah, but we
Let him finish.
Sorry. I shouldn't do that. Sorry. Go on.
No. We know whose fault it is, right? But at the end of the day, we had to use the tools that we were given, right? We had Marino up front.
We weren't given the tools. He chose to not add tools.
Okay.
Yes, I agree.
I agree in that.
Yellow card for Aaron.
But listen, you need to get to the point now. We're in April, right? The transfer window was 4 months ago, so we've already accepted that we're not going to get a striker, and this is the tool that we have, right? And everyone expected, even Arsenal supporters, we expected us to get battered by Real Madrid, both home and away. Yeah,
we didn't win a trophy for that, bro.
I
know, but
that's where there's both sides. That's where it's like the angel and the devil. Because I agree with both of you.
Whilst I do agree with it, right?
That's where we need to cross over to.
That's what I'm trying to say. But I'm trying to say now is that whilst all that was nice and fun and all of this and all of that, it's getting to the point where the writing's on the wall. Same with the guys that are backing Arteta. They're going to be looking at it and thinking, hold on, no signings, right? You've been telling us for 18 months, 2 years that you're going to go sign Sesko. No bids, no nothing. Is this really the guy? And it's going to turn toxic.
But the other side of it is like, they're not stupid. They know. And my belief, by the way, was that last year we were in this exact same position in the summer going in, knowing, even our mothers, grandmothers, even people in the graves knew we needed a striker. Yeah. And we still didn't go pull the trigger. And I thought we wouldn't be that stupid. And then January came and I was like, okay, we have a chance to redeem ourselves. Actually, we're still second. We're still in 4 competitions. Holy crap. Like, let's actually
remember it was Jesus' injury that changed all the language in January as well. You know, it wasn't Saka's.
Nah, it's a lie, man. Arteta knows who he wants. He doesn't want to budge, and he's waiting for Sesko.
I honestly think we went in for Watkins. Arteta wanted Watkins, and the club didn't want to go 16.
It's a smoke screen. It's a smoke screen to keep Arsenal fans doing that.
I don't think so. Do you know what? Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is? From the time players are coming out and saying this. Come on.
What do you mean?
Declan Rice was begging for Tierney. Begging for signings. He was saying Tierney's playing left wing, which is why I always say I feel sorry for the players and fans because they're being shortchanged.
I'll say that about 12, 13 transfer windows to spend more than 6 players and 80 million on them to sign forwards. There's no excuse. He also could have maybe released Gyokeres' release clause instead of getting Mikel Merino in or Calafiori, but he didn't decide to do that. Gyokeres could have always said no, but why didn't he try it? Why did we feel the need to sign 2 ridiculously mediocre average squad players? Why did we do that instead of signing a striker? Why did we do that?
Yeah, absolutely. There's no excuses about not getting a striker. I've been one of the
pathetic.
Fans,
it was
pathetic.
pathetic.
Yeah, 100%. But you know, Aaron, like my perspective, the difference between me and you is like I find it cumbersome to like, you know what I mean? Like get emotional over it. And like when we can't change it and I see what's happening, that's why I'm just over it at this point. I'm like, let him do what he's going to do because there's nothing left now. Everyone's watching. Everyone knows he has to get the striker. And if he doesn't do this with the tools that he has right now, there's nowhere for him to go. There's nowhere for him to hide. As you said, we haven't made a final. You know, FA Cup, we keep getting knocked out. We don't even make it past the 3rd round. League Cup, okay, we made the semi-final. But honestly, like you said, no one really cares. I think personally, even if we won the League Cup this season, I don't think anyone would have given it any credit. I know people like league gunners say, for example, if we won it, you know, at least we would have won a trophy. I don't believe that, to be honest. I think people would have used that as a beating stick to say, oh, we already won the FA Cup. Oh, we already won the League Cup. We only wanted to win the major trophies. And because we didn't win anything, you know, that's a perspective. It's like, oh, we could have at least won the League Cup. It's not enough.
One thing I will say,
bigger trophies than that.
One thing I will say, my friend, yeah? And I'll show you, right? Hold on 1 second. Here we go. Let's get this little. This was on my seat the last time Arsenal Football Club won a trophy, yeah? That we could have gone to the game. This was on my seat. This is why we go to football, ladies and gentlemen. This is why we go to football. That's why we go. We go to Wembley to win stuff. That's why I pay the money. That's why I make the sacrifice. All about winning stuff. All about them days at Wembley. It would have made a hell of a difference. And I get the point that you're coming from, African Gooner. I actually do. I'm not going to argue that in sense of I get it. Maybe it would have still been an underwhelming season. This is why we go to football, bruv. For a win, bruv.
Absolutely. But we both know it wasn't going to be enough. It wasn't
all about doing that.
all
I
about.
know, but it wasn't going to be enough for us. Like, we're past that now. You know, I'm not disrespecting the trophy. Of course, FA Cup, League Cup, you know, they're trophies, but we know what we're going for. We're going for the PL that we haven't won in over 20 years, and we've never won the Champions League. So that's what I'm looking to get. And if Arteta can deliver that after 6 seasons, there's no more excuses. You know, if he doesn't buy the strikers that he needs, that's why for me, you know, whether it's Nico Williams, Semenyo, whoever it is, like, you know, of course I want someone that I think is going to improve the team. But at the end of the day, I also think Arteta doesn't improve some of our players. Like, you know, we're just speaking about transfers, but it's bigger than transfers. It's also squad management. It's also substitutions. It's also relationship for player management.
He's adapted
right?
this season. He needs to evolve, man, because you can talk about Gyokeres till you're blue in the face and Nico Williams, but when we get them and we're still crying about low blocks, I just want to know what people have to say.
Bro,
my point is there's many things that have to be changed.
Man,
he's here or not.
If we're struggling against low blocks and we sign all these players and bro, I don't even know what's gonna happen. It's gonna be so bad, honestly. Like, I'll lose it as well. If we can't break down low blocks after this summer window, then we clearly didn't sign the right players. You know, yeah, bro.
Bearing in mind, my personal thoughts, and this is just me. When we talk about low blocks, when we talk about strikers, when we talk about in-game management, when we talk about managing, or better yet, navigating multiple competitions and everything, actually, all three of you said, all of this, we didn't just learn that in the season that's just gone by. It's the season before. It's not, none of this is new. The only things we've learned that's new is obviously Miles Skelly's come up. All of the things or the negatives that have harmed us, we've been knowing about it. And I always say on my platform, if nothing changes, nothing changes. Arteta, Berta, everybody else in between, you need to get it done, because you can't blame Arteta for everything. But I also feel there's this inability by some fans to blame him for some things. And unfortunately, it might not all be his fault. But fundamentally, we've all watched football. The manager's the most disposable. I don't know for being on 50 mil a year. There's accountability now.
And he's also the first person you point the finger to, right? It's normal.
And and if you win us major trophies, you'll get your praise. Same with Kroenke, same with everyone else. That's how I run it. But unfortunately, we're underperforming. We've got the highest tickets, highest season tickets, highest paid manager. You know, a lot of Arsenal fans want to sing from the rooftops, and I'm not even being negative or anything, but people want to sing from the rooftops about how good Arteta is, blah, blah, blah. Hold him to those standards. Apart from Pep now, with Thomas Frank leaving, he's been here the second longest. My biggest problem is we've talked about the future, and if this don't happen and that don't happen, we've gone over the past, and whatever way you look at it, we need to seize the present, bro. The present needs to be seized, because what you don't want to do is look back at these 3 years or 4 going into next season and think what's going on. We don't know if Liverpool's going to fall off a cliff. I don't think they are, but we don't know what's going to happen with.
They don't look like
they've seized the moment. Go on.
Yeah, for me, I mean, they definitely think that Liverpool, I mean, even Man U, bro, like, let's be honest, like, they're shit and they finished 14th, but if they sign the player that they're supposedly signing, those are players that we would have signed. So, you know, you have to give it credit a little bit at least, right? You got to respect it. I mean, I saw the stuff about Mbeumo going to Spurs, but I mean, Cunha is a good signing, and if they get Gyokeres, it's a good signing. So there's going to be a lot of competition. Newcastle, Aston Villa, Nottingham Forest. We know. Like, the league is getting more and more intense every single season. And GG, you're right. Like, present moment, it does already feel before the season starts that those last 3 seasons are a missed opportunity already. And it's funny because, you know, Havertz was 2 points away from being the best ever Arteta signing we've ever seen, right? And you know, we were so close because we were so close to winning the league, right? We were 1 game away from winning the league. So Havertz can't be that bad of a signing, right? Like, it changes. If we won the league, Havertz becomes the best signing ever. It's that, like, it's just such small, you know, differences in the game. So for me, like, you're right. Present moment, we gotta focus on it. We gotta get.
It's always next. At some point, you've got to seize the moment. Bro.
Yeah, it's no more next.
So sorry guys, I keep getting kicked out. But yeah, sorry. We're just to recap. What were you guys saying? Just so I can comment on it.
We were just talking about you know, it's more about also having a plan A, plan B, plan C tactics, in-game management. Like, it's not just about us signing the players.
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah. I agree. One of the things that really irks me about Arteta is that he leaves it so late to make substitutions.
We can build, Aaron, but at some point the building needs to be done. But I'll cut you. Go on, bro.
No, it's fine. We leave it so late to make substitutions. Why are we chasing the game or the game's drawing? We need something to change, right? And we leave it to the 80th.
We need that injection.
We need an injection, and this is the reason why I know
Needs to
Arsenal's
evolve.
not going to do this. Yeah, this is the reason why I know Arsenal not going to do this. But why not go get 2 strikers? Why not go an Ollie Watkins and a Gyokeres or a Benjamin Sesko?
Because you still have Havertz and Jesus, bro. That's the problem. We have if we could have sold Jesus this summer.
Who signed them?
Whose fault is
I
that?
know, but Aaron, we can't
Exactly.
go back. We know who signed them, bro. Like we know who freaking
But that's
signed
the-
them, bro.
do you know what?
So
We're all agreeing.
got
No,
it.
points are being
The thing is,
conflated.
though, this is building to my point. When I say Arteta are out, this is all the points we're
Yeah,
stuck
absolutely.
with all of this.
I get it. I get it. Do you know? I get
That's
it.
why I said he
Inflated
can't be blamed
wages.
for everything. But this illusion to some people that he's a damsel in distress, it don't work out.
No,
bro.
it's not. It's not that at all. It's not that at all. He is to blame. He is to blame for a majority of the things. But he has taken us to a point where I didn't actually think this club would be able to go.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Why did Spurs, after winning the first trophy in 18 years, sack their manager after winning the Europa League, and we kept our manager after failing to qualify for it, losing to Olympiacos, losing to Sporting Lisbon, and losing to Emery's Villarreal? Why did he keep his job?
You're right. I was surprised.
There's no issues if Arteta was the guy to steady the ship, not necessarily get us over the line. You know, everything's on the table
Let
now.
them keep their manager after winning it, and we
also,
keep a manager
bro, Aaron,
who's
you have to
lost 3 and then didn't even
Aaron,
qualify for it.
We
gotta
have
put
had 3
you gotta
golden
put
years.
context in the conversation. Where we are as a team and a squad is very different to where
I think
they
it's
are.
this comment.
I totally hear you. By the way, like I was really surprised, as I said, like they won a major.
It's
trophy.
genuinely
Like,
this comment
fired
on screen.
Their coach after winning the Champions League. I was like, what? They won the Champions League and they fired their coach? We would never do that, right? So I hear what you're saying, but also we've invested so much time and so much planning and strategy. It's foolish right now to just pull the plug, which is why, for me personally, as an Arsenal fan,
Why?
I'm giving it one more season.
5 years, bruv.
I know.
No,
But
how
I
long
mean,
would
it's
you
even,
give it?
do you know what? It's
You
even
say
free.
6.
These last
You
3
say
years
6.
have been
I
golden.
think it has to be free. I think personally,
But either way, it's not got over the line. That's the thing. Arteta, if I isolate you, I like you as a manager away from Arsenal, but it's an over the line thing now.
Yeah,
do you know what it is? It's head vampire.
It's getting bigger and bigger
syndrome.
every year. That don't happen.
Do you know when you kill the vampire and all the others wake up? That's what it's like. When Arteta goes, all these top gooners will be like, "Fuck me, what have we done for the last 6 years? What's happened? Are we still in 2019?" Everyone will wake up and
I
go,
don't agree with that.
"Oh, that
Aaron.
was a
I
massive
don't
waste."
agree with
I
that.
do think there's a
Isn't
lot
it?
of excuses
I don't
afforded.
think
I'll be
how
real.
waste that
I see
was.
both sides of the debate.
I don't think we wasted the last 6 years because I don't believe that if we
What
maybe
have
had
we done
another
in the last
manager,
6
we
years?
would be where we are today. And I think we're taking that.
Well,
for
we'd have probably
granted.
had
We
some
don't know.
success.
I know, but we don't know if someone else came, if we would have even been where we are, competing for the league 3 years in a row. And I'm not saying
We didn't
it's good
compete
enough.
for the
Of
league
course
3
we
years
want
in a row. We
more.
competed for the league 2 years in a row. I'll give you that. We
3,
didn't compete for the league
two,
last year.
2.5.
We didn't compete for it last year.
Okay,
Not 2.5,
2.5.
2 years.
Okay,
Not and a half.
2
There's
years.
no half. There's no
2
half.
years plus a semi-final, right? Which
That's
would
not
have
competing. That's losing humiliatingly bad.
But it's improving as well. Like this is the thing.
Why
you
is
know,
it improving though?
Aaron, with people who don't like Arteta, like I've had this conversation before with Lee Gunner, with
Where's the improvement?
So many people, like if they say like, oh, Arteta's done bad, he hasn't done any good, and I don't know, I don't understand why fans believe that way. It's not black and white. Arteta can have made mistakes.
But it is black and white. You either win or you don't.
But it's
and we
not that
don't.
black and white. Only one team wins. Only
Exactly.
one team wins.
Why is it never Arsenal then?
I know, bro. I'm an Arsenal fan. I'm on your
That
side.
hurts.
Like, it's
That
not
hurts.
that black and
Exactly.
white,
Why is it
bro. I
never
hear
Arsenal?
you. I
Only
hear
one
you.
team wins. We entered 4 competitions and we won neither of them.
I know. I hear you, bro.
And like I said, since we won the FA Cup, we entered 19 competitions and we've failed in successfully
It's true. That is true.
consecutive 19 competitions. It is true. It's fact. You can't argue it.
It's true. It's true. It is true. That's the reason why. It's that although I'm Arteta in, I completely understand the reason why people want him out. I completely understand it.
But you agree with me that it's not so easy as like, oh, he hasn't done.
No. I agree.
Yeah.
This is where I'm at. It's almost like I get why people want him out, but it's not as just easy like that. There's complexities that you kind of need to take into consideration.
And he's also done good things. He's done
great. Like, guys, I don't remember the last time I bought a season ticket beforehand. Right, I used to go with my parents before that. This is the first guy in such a long time. I'm talking about 10 years. They made me want to buy a season ticket again. It's, he's taking us. He's taking us places.
My friend. I'll tell you who was taking people places. Kenny Dalglish, when he was appointed Blackburn Rovers manager in 1991.
Oh, that is a different.
No. Hold on. Let me land. While he was in Division 1 and he got promoted that season, and then within 3 years he won the Premier League. It wasn't that difficult for Kenny Dalglish. Arsene Wenger, we got him from Grand Passat. In his first full season, he won the domestic double. Wasn't that easy for him?
Against?
What about
who were they actually competing against?
Alex Ferguson's Manchester United, both of them.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. That was it. That was it.
That was it.
Yeah,
and we still won it. What about Jose Mourinho when he was appointed in the 04-05 season? Oh yeah, in the 04-05 season, he won the league and the Premier League.
But
and
again,
then
how many
he won the
teams were
Premier League again.
competing? How many teams were competing?
How long did it take him? 3 years, 3 teams.
Yeah, but how many teams were competing, Aaron?
3 teams. How many were competing this year? 1. Only Liverpool. They were the only team competing. Carlo Ancelotti won it in his first year. Mancini won it in his second year. Pellegrini won it in his first year. Ranieri for Leicester won it in his first year. Conte won it in his first year. Guardiola won it in his second year. Klopp won it in his 4th year. Slot won it in his first year. It don't take time, boys. Whether you whatever you
to
say
be fair,
or not,
though, one thing. Sorry, Aaron. Yeah, but there
Aaron
is right about that. No, Aaron. No. One thing Aaron's right about, yeah, because everyone that was saying, "Oh, City are a juggernaut and they can't be stopped," and all of that kind of stuff, yeah, they said if City ever fall off, we're there to pounce. We saw how this season went, so I do think that is a valid claim.
All right, guys.
I won't lie. They do say winners win and losers explain.
But let's say this now. Let's say this now. Let's say this now, right? Imagine Salah got injured for 3-4 months, the same way Saka did.
I know. I swear people.
No, I hear that. We all know there's been injuries or some say unprecedented.
Okay. What about last year? What about last year when we didn't get any injuries?
Last year, that's fine.
We were not good enough.
But do you know
last year when we was injured?
Aaron, listen to me, bro. Listen to me, bro. Listen, Aaron. Last year we lost 1 game to Aston Villa, right? Whilst Manchester City went on a tyrant run. Bro, come on.
1 game too many, bro.
I hear that. But what I'm trying to say, it's never been done before. What Man City done last season was almost crazy. It's never been done before. That you go the whole second part of the season.
Bro, they do it. They do it every year.
No, they don't.
That's what makes last summer even more disappointing.
Yeah,
how
they
this
do.
season played out.
The
whole club was complacent from top to bottom.
But they lose games. They lose a couple of games.
Yeah, but
have a little look at Manchester City over the last 3 or 4 years, and have a look at their domestic form after January, and it's been unbelievable. That's when they win their titles. Come on, man, you can't say that.
But they still have a couple of losses.
Okay. So the season before that, then why were we 8 points clear of them? And then they
we bottled it. No. The season that season there.
That season is the exact same thing the season before. You're saying it's never been season. You just said it's never been done before, but they've done it the season before to us as well. So what are we doing?
But that's different context because we wasn't even in the contention no more.
Come on, they've done it the season before. They literally done it the season before. And then they've done it against Liverpool. Then they always do it. They finish strong, Manchester City. That's what they do. That's how they won Premier League. Come on, bro. Come on. Have a look. Have a look, bro.
Aaron, of course they do. But what I'm trying to say, in terms of the losses, they'll get maybe 1 or 2 losses, and they'll still power through. Last season, they didn't get no losses.
Yeah, 0 losses in the second half.
0 losses in the second half of the season.
They won everything.
So
the only thing that's been consistent is we've not got over the line.
Sam, we were really good. We were really good at the end of the last season. But whether we like it or not, we just weren't good enough. Whether we say, oh, it's a valiant effort, oh, it was tough, it was good. I can't.
Which is why both things can live in the same realm. It ain't necessarily black and white. But we did
lose to Aston Villa. It weren't good enough. It's as simple as that. We can't escape the fact that if we hadn't have done, we would have won the Premier League. If we would have drew, we still wouldn't have done it. We just cannot escape the fact that Manchester City went on that run and we won an impressive run, but equally it just wasn't good enough. And that's not down to bad luck. That's not down to this. That's not down to that. That's just down to us not being good enough. Exactly right. Exactly right facts. But it still weren't good enough.
I don't even think it was one game.
Do you know what, yeah? Do you know what? There's no unluck about it. Do you know what? I used to play snooker, yeah, with an old boy, right? And he was excellent at snooker. And he used to give me and I always used to have a shot. And I used to say to him when he was near, I used to say, oh, unlucky, mate. And after about a couple of months, he used to say to me, he said, Aaron, why do you keep saying unlucky? I was like, oh, yeah, but, it was a really good effort. You nearly went in. He was like, I had the cue in my hand. It was my eye. I struck the ball. It didn't go in because I didn't pot it. I wasn't good enough. There's no unluck about it. And that's exactly the same as my point.
That's why I think two truths live in one realm. We can talk about all the other stuff. We ain't got over the line. We need to find a way to do that.
Comparing us with Man City, who spend more money than us, have a better coach than us, are more organized, have been together. Like they're above us, bro. Like they're above us.
We've been together. Let's not pretend like we've been together for like 2 or 3 years though. We've spent £750 million over half a decade.
I can't lie. I think I'm not saying you're wrong, but if that is genuinely the truth, yeah, where are we going? What are we doing here? Then?
No, I know.
Being devil's advocate. Then what are we doing?
I think this season really, because of the injuries, it was an excuse. I don't think we had enough before the season. So although I agree that the injuries did play, it's an excuse for me because I don't think even
all of these things play a part as to why we haven't got over the line. We were complacent in the summer. We dropped the ball, several balls.
Yeah,
and I can understand if even if the most loyal Arteta fan or loyal to the project, let's just say project, actually has lost their heart. Because again, as you lot said, we missed out by City, fantastic run, boom, boom, boom. We came into the summer knowing what we needed. We didn't do it. We found Neto and Sterling. No one was convinced by Sterling. Yet some people still said, you know what, Arteta's worked with him, and we've all seen the season play out. You have to start as you mean to go on. We have dropped the ball.
Yeah, but
wait. Not able to win the league, only spending 40 million on Chiesa
in the last window, and now,
because they already said
300 million or whatever, 200 million. We can't do that. So how do you can't compare ourselves with a team like that can just go sign Marmoush, Turkey, and all these? We don't. Well, that's not us, right? So I think it's a bit unfair for us to now.
That's why we need to control the controllables. I hear what you're saying, but what does that have to do with us finding a striker, finding a centre mid, having a competent team, our manager taking what he's good at, and then obviously looking at what he's bad at?
Have more depth. I think even if
but that's where I'm starting to disagree because it's cop-out now, bro. It's cop-out now.
To get to the point now.
Because if Arteta genuinely didn't believe, regardless of that, you're not going to sign a new deal. These players are not going to sign new deals. I hear what you're saying about all these guys, they got money to spend, rah, rah, rah. That has nothing to do with us either spending our little pennies on a household striker. And I know the game's changed, but finding a little Adebayor or something. As I said like 10 minutes ago, everything that's been an issue the season that's just gone was there the year before. We have not controlled the controllables, bro. So we can do the romantic, courageous Arsenal against money-hungry City. If we're going to do that, what are we doing here then? Then we're just on the ride.
African Gooner. Are we moving like a big club? Yes or no?
No.
Exactly.
No.
Liverpool and Manchester City. Liverpool and Manchester City.
We're not behaving in the way we need to.
Liverpool and Manchester City acting like a big club.
Yes, absolutely.
And there lies the real
Are they being incompetent? We're not being competent.
And because we never addressed that problem, Aaron, that's why I'm like, why do we expect to address that problem when we've never done it? It's like my heart and my soul, I know that we don't.
African Gooner is defeated.
If you want to do something you never did, you got to do something you never did. You know what I'm saying, bro?
Expectation for us to start moving like that, you know, what I'm seeing from Berta, like when I talk about negotiating for two big players.
Yeah, we've never done that.
To be fair, we're showing an ability to pivot.
Because last year we got spanked. We put all our eggs in one basket, and then when the basket got yanked from us,
we had nothing.
And they're looking
Sterling,
right?
bro.
And the Liverpool thing, people can say they got Salah and all these guys, which is true. They got good players. Nobody had them to win the league. A lot of Arsenal fans were doing the mathematician thing, like they're gonna fall off. They got a small squad. They found a way to do it. We didn't, which makes it an even bigger question for us.
Just quickly as well, I don't trust the basket, and I don't trust the geezer who's putting the eggs in it. That's the problem for Arsenal Football Club.
I hear that.
I don't trust anything that's happening. That's my problem. I don't trust it because I woke up on the wrong side of the bed today. I didn't eat my Weetabix, and I'm a little bit hungry. Do you know what I mean? I'm annoyed because the last 5 years we've not been good enough, bro. Like I've got a history. There's a reason why I feel like I do, and it's purely because I've seen this for the last 5 years. I could go further back, but this conversation isn't about anything post Arteta. It's not. It's solely on the structure of now. And what Arteta's done. That's how I always relay what I feel. And over the last 5.5 years, it's just not been good enough. It just hasn't.
I'll say 3 years. I'll say 3 years because
a winger could have. I'm not even trying to get at these players, but Kai Havertz, because I think there's too much said about Kai in it personally to him. But Kai Havertz 65 mil, Marino done all right. 30 odd million quid. I like Calafiori, but Calafiori 30, 40. 40. I just want to ask, we've known within the last 2 years, of course I'm being a bit disingenuous because it's 2 different periods, but we've known we've needed a left winger, or at least Arteta did. You tried to bring in Mudryk. So you've had money. You could have got a left winger and a striker. You could have, regardless of what this team doing and that team, and they've got money. This is what I mean. We are not controlling our uncontrollables. Surely. Go ahead.
It's that although we needed a left winger when Trossard was brought in. Don't you think Arteta's thinking is that okay? You know what, Martinelli?
No, I'm cool with Trossard. I'm just saying, bro.
I'm just saying. Don't you think Martinelli's still there? He's still thinking that Martinelli is going to get that form that he had 2 years ago. Because I was.
What did you say there 2 years ago? And this is what I always say. If we've got if we want to be a team that, like you lot said, we beat Real Madrid, we beat City, couple players go through purple patches, top 6 record, we finish second, we win some battles, not the war. We've got enough, We've got enough. You see, if you want to get over the line and win trophies, Man need to be able to score goals up front. You need a left winger who at least does 50% of what Saka does. We can't keep crying about depth. We need our manager to be able to pivot. All of these things are in our control, you know.
But
if we did all of this and then, man, they are better than us, you can just put your hands up. But that's not been the case, and all four of us know it, and everyone in the chat knows.
If he's expecting Martinelli to improve in 2 years, that in his mind he should know what he needs to improve.
It's a bench thing. Martinelli, Kai Havertz, Merino, them, man, they're not bad players. It's a bench thing. We take bench players and make them starters, and they'll be good across the season. They'll show 10 games where they're unplayable. Equally, there's 10 games they go missing, and it's a mixed bag. If you want to win a league, you need to know who you're betting on. That attacking unit is only Bukayo Saka. Asterisk Nwaneri. Havertz has scored goals, but it is only Bukayo Saka. We have said this time after time after time. If we don't change things, we're going to keep talking about the same things.
That's because there's no plan B at the football club. The plan A is we'll keep this rigid defensive structure because after we bottled the league 2 years ago, the manager's petrified about attacking. That's just an absolute fact because he just locks everything in. And the attack is give it to Saka and hopefully he whips in a good ball in or whips it in the far corner. When that don't work or he gets injured,
we have nothing.
Where's Arsenal Football Club? We've got nothing. We're toothless. And to be fair, Mikel Marino done a good little job up top. But what we're doing here, long throw's exactly right. Now you're taking the piss out the semi-final. We got to a semi-final, we reverted to Rory.
I know. But I'm fair.
We got to a semi-final when we started turning into Stoke City. Rory Delat throwing in the box. Come on, man. Come on. We found out that semi-final with the Champions League was not our level. We just found it out. We lost both legs. And it was comfortable. Come on, PSG didn't get out of second. They didn't get out of first gear and even both of them.
They think that's a bit hard saying not our level.
No, it's not our level.
It weren't our level because we lost quality players in attacking.
I think, I'm with DG there. I think it showed that what we're just
capable.
It's almost there.
Where we that's where I think we self-inflicted.
There's no almost about losing all four legs of a semi-final competition. There's no almost, bro. We didn't even score against Newcastle. Oh, that's 4-0. That's humiliation, bro.
The semi-final for the Carabao.
Come on, Darren.
That was absolutely embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing, right? But at the Champions League, although PSG did beat us, it wasn't a dominating sort of performance by them.
Because they didn't get out of first gear, bro.
But don't you think that's the trap we get into? Like we're even, the shots are there, the field tilt's there, everything's there. But we don't feel we're not the winners.
Oh, don't start that field tilt.
Did you not see Arteta?
DJ mentioning field tilt. No, I ain't having none of that.
No. But no. I'm asking the question. That's what I'm saying. Because we're in that trap of field tilt, XG, possession, shots. It's all close. But we're not the ones winning. It's like Arteta coming out and saying we're the best team in the Champions League.
It only matters what happens in the top left-hand corner, and that's the scoreline. That's scoreline red. We lost
I'm going with it. About putting in the back of the net.
Sod XG, sod field tilt, sod scope.
No, I have all of that. Put it over the net now. I don't know about you or anyone in the chat. I am not going to care that we had field tilt and PSG in the final. They went and won.
We had Rory coming on and going, well, Arsenal, they beat PSG over 3 games. I need a shit really desperately. Do you know what I mean? PSG, who cares, Rory? Who cares, chat? No one cares about XG. Only the result in the game. Chat. Was it 1-0? Was it 1-0? That's what all matters. We lost the home leg. We lost the away leg. We lost convincingly over 2 legs. Exactly. We don't.
I'll just say this. Going back to the original question that DG you asked, right? How far are we from getting over the line? I believe we're not that far.
We're not.
I believe we're not that far.
2 or 3 players.
All right, 10 being over the line, yeah. How far are we?
7, 8.
I would agree as well. 7 or 8.
7, 8. We're not far at all, guys. Like,
I think 4.
What? 4 out of 10?
4 out of 10.
I think 4. Yeah. And I'll tell you why. And I genuinely tell you why. I'm not with this positive or negative stuff. I need to know my manager has his tactics and all of that stuff. I actually don't necessarily care that you're stubborn and all these things. But you need an ability to learn from your mistakes and you need an ability to pivot. Until you can show me that, okay, I can plan, micromanage, inverted left back. But you see when that goes left, until you can show me that you can pivot around that, until you can show me you can break down low blocks, until I feel we have the quality in attack and the depth and all of these kind of things, then I can't believe it. And I don't even mean that in a disingenuous way. We are a good team. I want us to be a great team. Until I'm able to look at certain players and know what I'm getting from, and let's all be honest here, the defensive unit, you know what you're getting, whether you like them, you know what you're getting. Midfield is a bit mixed, you know what you're getting. The attack, squad players at best, bar Bukayo Saka and the young Wanyeri. So for me, it's a 4-5.
And you're
We're a
saying young
mixed bag.
Nwaneri, like disrespecting Trossard and Martinelli and Havertz as if they're not decent players. Like,
But that's the thing; they're decent squad players. If you want to get
but
over the line, you need more
about
than this.
Nwaneri before we even mention our freaking starters. You know what I mean?
I
Like,
said
yeah,
asterisk next to
Nwaneri's gonna be a
Wanyeri,
good
meaning he's a
player,
young
but, like,
player.
Yeah.
I know, but like you're acting as if like Nwaneri's gonna be. You know what I mean? We can't be putting.
I don't know
Nwaneri
what you're
on the
talking
same
about acting. I said asterisk, he's a young player. There's no
I
expectations
know,
on
but
him.
like, why are we talking? But it has to be more than that. Like, for me, I think people underrate Havertz, and I'm sorry. Like, you know, I wasn't for him, but I think he's overachieved, and I do think he's a good player, and I do think he will help and contribute for us next season. I don't think someone like Nwaneri is going to be contributing for me next season as much as I think people are hoping. And we saw that this season with the way MLS is the one who's playing more games than Nwaneri. Honestly, the way Arteta's been treating Nwaneri, he hasn't even played him when there's been opportunities. And I hear the discussion we said about him, you know, his fitness and stuff, but there's been blatant opportunities where before, when Odegaard was injured out of the team, and we didn't even play this guy. And at that time, he wasn't even playing. So for me, like mentioning Nwaneri, like, I don't know. For me, I don't even see him playing a major part, honestly, next season. And that's why it has to be either a Rodrigo, who's going to completely change our left wing, and Martinelli becomes the bench, and then Trossard becomes that player who plays on the right wing for me, or Jesus.
Let me say this super chat real quick before you carry on. Big up Snake Eyes. What a crazy name. Arteta has deluded some of these fans to think it takes a long time to win. It does not. Managers are judged by trophies. Arteta has spent a lot and nothing to show from it. We have regressed. Unlucky, lads. But yeah, go on, African Gooner. You were speaking. I just wanted to get that out.
I was just saying, like, I don't know. Everyone has their own perspectives. I think a lot of people judge Kai Havertz harshly because he was forced down our throats, not because he's actually a bad player, in my opinion. Because we know that we could have signed a better striker, and we spent so much money on him. Arteta made that decision, and he has to live and die by that, and he is living and dying by that.
That's why I don't get at Kai no more, because you didn't buy yourself. You've worked out a bit better. Fundamentally, it's more problems.
That's another question I wanted to ask, guys. Is it just Arteta? Do we think that he does have the iron fist that he says yes or no?
Yes.
Or do you
Clearly,
think...
it's not just Arteta, but the nature of the business, it can't be the manager.
If you say this, if you say yes, then why did he point at the board and say they need to do what they need to do?
Because he's a smart man. He knows what time is. That's why I said it's not just it. I never said it's
now Berta's here and he's deflecting. That's why Arteta before previously said, I have the final say on signings. Direct quote, inarguable.
Do you really think Arteta would have dared to speak like that in public without already having those conversations with them? They already knew the PR they were going to put out. I promise you, I know this club, man. They had
everyone's in this thing together.
They had those discussions and they told him, this is what we're going to say. We're going to front that we're actually trying to get an attacker, but they knew they had these conversations. You know that they met in the USA in December to discuss who we were going to be signing in January and who we were going to be signing in the summer. So they had already decided. The plan was already set out. In my personal opinion, it was all PR. Whatever Arteta said, I didn't believe it. I hardly watch his press conferences anymore because I know he fronts majority of the time. And Wenger did that really, really well. And that's part of being a good manager, is being able to conceal and hide those things. Who's in training, who's injured, all the tactics, right? And my opinion is that it's all hearsay. You know what I mean? I don't think he wanted to strike. If he wanted to strike, he would have bought one.
What's the date for the PR trophy parade?
This guy.
Well, I just want to know, because we're so good at PR. I just want to know, because obviously it's such a big PR thing. You know, I mean, everyone loves PR at Arsenal Football Club. I just want to know when the parade is.
Well, the parade's been happening because he's still there, right? So technically, in my
no, that's the circus. That's the circus.
That's the circus. The parade must happen, I think, in December, Aaron, or like I think up November, December. If we're like third and we're out, we're not. I think that's probably your parade date. In my opinion.
I don't think Don's getting sacked mid-season. Unless we're 8th, God forbid. Arteta's not getting sacked mid-season.
Everyone belongs in here. Look, come on, everyone belongs in here. Come on, in you go. Ooh, in you go. Berta, bye-bye. See you.
Why you keep sending shots at Berta?
In you go. I know. He has an agenda for
Yeah, let's get to the bottom of this.
Zinchenko, in you go.
Yeah,
he keeps sending shots at Berta, and he's been here 2 minutes.
In you go. Let's all go in the bin.
This guy's on to Mr. Berta. Surely Berta should be given some time.
So
Everyone
in terms of who makes the decisions, it has to be Arteta, bro. Come on, he makes the team. He knows who he wants to play. Like when we see these decisions about Fabio Vieira, about Reece Nelson, about keeping Nketiah, and Edu wasn't making those decisions. Josh Kroenke is not telling him to go buy Calafiori for 40 million. Like that's why when people look at the board and look at other people, I agree. I think Edu does have some part, right? His part was probably let me use my Brazilian connection.
Where's the talent ID? Talent ID in the bin.
Arteta's the one who's like, okay, I want
we trust, man.
I want these players. Let's see what we can make happen.
Talent ID in the bin.
Makes a decision based on that. That's my personal opinion. I really point the finger at the coach because he's the one who decides which players he wants to play and which players he doesn't
on everyone, man.
wants in his team.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm just on the board itself. I'm just on the
But
manager.
how? Explain to me.
Every one of them, every one of them, the manager, the board. Every one of them.
Explain, how does Richard Garlick or someone like Edu or how does someone like Josh Kroenke, what blame are you putting towards them when they've given us the money, right, to spend and they've given us a budget and then it's the manager and the sporting director's responsibility to now go and execute the plan and do everything. And then maybe go to Josh Kroenke and say, hey, by the way, we're going to pull the trigger on this. Okay, yes, no. And he probably just, you know what I mean? He's like, yeah, cool. If you guys think that, yeah, pull the trigger.
Everyone, because there's probably been times where that's happened and they fucked it up, times where Arteta is suggesting dickheads and it's not worked. Everyone's in this together, man.
I have to agree with DG. It's not just Arteta, it's all of them.
Everybody.
Right? And the thing is, you need to remember as well, Josh Kroenke comes out, again, you might think this is PR as well, but he comes out with like, yeah, we're going to completely back the manager now. We're going to give him the transfer money to spend, right?
Did he not?
But listen, what I'm trying to say now, what is the definition of a technical director? What are they supposed to do?
Someone that recruits and puts together the strategy of the long-term strategy of the club in terms of squad management and finances and everything.
Perfect, right? But what are they supposed to do is be like, cool, we've got a prime target, right? Yeah. And you're supposed to give them maybe 4-3.
Have an ability to pivot.
Yeah. Give us the ability. Edu wasn't that.
Yeah, I agree.
Right?
Or he was, but the players were shit.
So exactly, right? So he was.
But to be fair, it's come out. Edu's the reason we got Gabriel Magalhaes.
Yeah.
So it's not always blamed Donny.
One out of how many? One out of how many?
But to be fair, we don't know. How do we know?
But listen, this is the same guy.
How do we know Mikel Arteta wanted Declan Rice and it weren't the next thing? That's my point. Everyone's in it.
Arteta was on it. But I'm just saying this is the same guy.
I'm being devil's advocate.
I heard that, my bro. But this is the same guy that said Marquinhos is going to be a wonder kid, right? So we took in Marquinhos thinking, oh my gosh, this Brazilian guy that Edu is just come in and he's been scouting and all
Round
this.
envelope,
Fabio Vieira as well. Let's put him in that category too.
Yeah.
How many players did we sign from the
Fabio Vieira team?
Who did we get him from? Sao Paulo.
No, Edu.
Sao Paulo.
Yeah. We gave him 3.5 million to keep it all nice and rosy with him. How many players did we sign since then? Oh yeah, none. Arsenal Football Club are the only football club that paid 3.5 million to not sign any players from them, like to keep positive negotiations. For what?
Well, either way,
we pay 3. That shows you how backwards Arsenal Football Club's transfer dealings are. We paid 3.5 million for free signing.
That's what I want to hear, bro. That's what I want to hear, bro. I want to hear
that shit, bro. It's not just and we signed him over Kvaratskhelia.
No, that's a lot. But how? Come on, that's not true, man. How are we even believing that crap? Just because an account like ADX put an article that he misquoted.
That's all well and good.
Like, oh, we chose Marquinhos over.
I agree with you. Why didn't we go in for him in January? Though?
Yeah, that I won't argue.
When?
I won't argue with you.
In January, when PSG got him. Why didn't we just throw a name in that?
Do you actually think we can keep up with the likes of PSG in terms of what they're offering for wages?
No,
I think we should be trying. I think we should be trying.
Put a name in the hat. That's
to be fair, we should have got before January. January is the myth.
I'm trying to say the reason why I have to blame the technical directors because yes, cool. Imagine we have Arteta making the signings, and I want this, I want that. You're supposed to come in, and be like, once they fail, okay, these are the next 3-4, right? Because I can name you 3-4 that we can buy alone from the Prem. I know you mentioned Rashford. We didn't really want Rashford. I know you done really well at Aston Villa. I don't really want him. I was thinking about maybe like a Wissa. Right, a Wissa from Brentford would have been, or Mbeumo to kind of come in.
No way, that man leaving in Jando.
Yeah, you know, more so Wissa. Mbeumo wasn't leaving because obviously they would have asked extortionate prices. But Wissa, from the time I was seeing 30 million. Mitoma.
Williams.
Yeah, Mitoma. What do you think about Mitoma?
Nico Williams ain't leaving in January.
And Saudi Arabia came.
Williams don't want us. Clearly, he don't want Arsenal.
No, but this guy wants 450k minimum.
That's probably for us. He's clearly whoring himself out for Barcelona.
Who does want Arsenal? That's the real question. Who does want Arsenal? That's the real stinker.
Come on.
Who does want
Nah,
Arsenal?
man, people can want Arsenal. Let's just get the business done.
Yeah,
man.
but
Who? Where are they?
This is where we need Berta, man. But that's what I was asking, Aaron. You keep
Exactly.
sending shit
Yeah.
to Berta. Why are you texting me?
That's why Aaron, how about this? How about this, bro? Aaron, how about this? How about this? How about this,
He's
Aaron?
feeding the dog, and he's
Aaron, how about this?
dog.
How about this? Yeah, on the 27th
Because he's
of June.
got to bed himself in. You know, like he
27th of
hasn't
June.
been doing a sporting director's role for the last 10 years as a
Yeah, but it's
seasoned
not that
veteran with TV.
straightforward, man.
Oh, he just came in. He's feeding the dog.
I'll
Here's
prove
your
you
winner,
right.
lot. He's a pedigree chum. Nom, 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 nom. What we doing here? He's not on fucking. He's not on fucking learners. Fucking whatever
Yeah,
it
but
is. You know what I mean?
I agree with
Like,
you.
like,
You
like
think that there's
work
like a
experience. What we
translation
doing
that
here?
if you do a
That's
job,
what I'm saying.
you
That's
can
what I'm
go
saying.
to another job and perform.
Look. Let's give him, like you said, to the
When you want
27th of June. 27th of June, right? We're already under the consensus, right? 27th of June. If this guy, obviously, this is probably about a month being at Arsenal, right?
Yeah.
If obviously after it's coming up to a month and he's still not doing nothing, all right, cool, Aaron,
And we
keep shooting, Aaron. Yeah, but
Okay, that's cool. So to be fair, your thing's a month, mine's now. So what's
Aaron,
really
Aaron,
different?
don't forget we're also doing contract.
What if Arteta's
extensions,
not
which
listening to
count
Berta's
as part of
targets?
his responsibility, guys.
This is why I'm blaming everyone.
Yeah, but that's all well and good. So
thing.
who's his who then? So what about if we say, oh, Arteta's got the Sesko deal down the line and the Zubameli? How do we know that the Gabriel Magalhaes deal went down the line? And we just should be praising.
This is why I'm saying I'm on to everyone because we're hearing Berta wanted Gyokeres, my man wants Sesko. It seems like where the time's turning. This is why for me, I'm not a fly on the wall in it. I don't know. I think it's a bit of everything. I'm on to everyone.
The fact is, we don't know. But what we do know
this
is
is why
that
I'm saying I'm on to everyone. We win a trophy, everyone gets praised. We do shit stuff, you all hold corn. That's my thing.
I agree.
I can't.
I just want to ask something.
I'm not picking and choosing.
I don't think the owner
Obviously,
is the
Berta
one
just
who's
walks
making
in, but
these
still.
decisions. I can't be like, oh yeah, the owner is the one who made a bad decision that we signed Calafiori. Like, how can I look at Josh Kroenke and blame him for signing Calafiori and signing Marino and not buying a striker? I can't, man. And then this guy came and gave us money to bid for someone in January, and the manager chose not to take that money and be creative and find other solutions. It didn't mean we had to buy someone. It didn't, you know what I mean? We didn't have to loan someone. We could have recalled Vieira, bare minimum, plan D. I would be respectable of that.
I agree with you, I agree with you. But do you know what? Where you have to blame the place and blame on the Kroenkes is why on earth would you give Mikel Arteta a pay rise in September for £15 million a year when no one was in for him and don't win anything? Why would you handcuff yourself like that? That's batshit, bruv. Why would you do that? Why would you not have just given him until the end of the season and gone, I'll tell you what, Mikel, well, there's no one in for you anyway. Because when you leave Arsenal Football Club, the only way is that way. The only way is down, Mikel. Yeah, guess what? Yeah, the only because who's going up? Who's going up? Manchester City ain't having, Liverpool ain't having him, Real Madrid ain't having, Barcelona ain't having, PSG ain't
Barcelona wants him. By the way,
no, they don't want him. They don't want him.
Come on.
They don't want him. Why would they want him when they've got a successful winning manager?
Now
that's
they
just
do.
an
Now
absolute
they do.
fact.
But he was the
Exactly. Now they do. Not in September, bruv. Not in September. He was already there. He was already there. Not in September when he got the pay rise. He was already there. Yeah, no, but that's not when the pay rise was. So
the only blame I put on the
statistically
Kroenkes,
correct.
as you say, Aaron, is not pulling the trigger. You're right; it's their power to pull the trigger. And
why would they give him £15 million a year and make him the most highest paid manager in the world when no one was after him and they could have just waited until the end of the season and seen what they are? Why? Because they've gone handcuffed him. Handcuffed. And that's what we do. We see the same thing in the manager. We see the same thing in contract negotiations in terms of the players. Round and round and round and round and round we go. Groundhog setting. Bill Murray. The alarm's going off.
That's not true, Aaron. We lost Van Persie. We lost Nasri. We lost Clichy. We lost all these players.
All irrelevant under the Arteta thing.
And now we're tying down.
I don't know what that. Yeah, I don't know what you're on with that.
All irrelevant under the Arteta thing.
No, it's not irrelevant. Arteta's the manager, and the players wouldn't choose to extend unless they appreciated the manager and felt like the project was willing to.
Well, they would do if you're going to get Martinelli was on 30 grand a week, yeah, and then we give him 70 under an Emery. He had one good season for Arsenal 2 years ago, and then we give him 180. That's why they sign. That's why they signed. Martin Odegaard was on 85 on his loan. Then we signed him. He was on 110. He had one good season under Arsenal. 240k a week.
That's
why they sign, bro. Because we give them over and over and over and over the odds.
Arsenal
That's
is
why they
stupid
sign,
enough.
bro.
So basically, you're saying that your club is stupid enough to give players contracts above their market value. You're basically saying we're mad.
To be fair, all clubs have made that problem.
Finally, you're getting it. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying.
I know. I'm spelling out what you're saying because just to be clear on what you're saying, and I agree with some of it. I don't agree with it entirely because, in my opinion, our club.
I'm going to statistically and factually shut you down when you finish. Don't worry.
Okay.
I've got the
our club does
facts.
research to understand how much a player is worth before we're not just going to offer a player wages for no reason and pay them 4 times what the market is going to pay them.
Okay.
So it was a research for Kai about saying, my guy.
Can I come back then? Okay. Kivior at Spezia was on 2.5k a week. Arsenal paid him 58k. Okay. No worries. Trossard was on 40k at Brighton. We give him 90. Timber was on 51. We give him 90. That's fair. Magalhaes was on 14k at Lille. We gave him 90k. Yeah. Tomiyasu was on 11k at Bologna. We gave him 50k, 55k. And then when we was injured, we gave him a pay rise and we still haven't seen him. Okay. No problem. Raya, Brentford, 25k. We give him 100. Girantini, 18k. We give him 75. Then give him 110k. Calafiori was on 11 at Bologna. We give him 120. Marino at Sociedad, 55. We give him 130. Ben White, 40. Hold on. Ben White, 40. We give him 120. Zinchenko was on 20k. We gave him 150. Martinelli, we gave him all the way up to 180k a week. Martin Odegaard, 80k, 240k. Rice, 60k, 240. Jesus, 90k, 265. The statistics and facts heavily weigh in my thing. So when we're saying, do we give players 2, 3, 4, 5 times their worth? I've just told you we fucking do. We are that retarded in the transfer window. That's all facts. You cannot argue that. Go and check it. I'll even send it to you. Hashtag facts. He shoots.
I hear what you're saying about the contracts, and I believe that the Premier League is always going to overpay because, one, we are a big club, and you're coming to the biggest spending and the highest marketing value in terms of monetary. So players are already expecting that. You're right. Maybe we may pay a bit more. But I think
we may pay a little bit more. No, we do pay a lot more. It's only that's probably about 75% of the squad.
My point is that other teams have to do this as well. You're acting as if Arsenal's the only team that is paying,
we're not talking about other teams. We're talking about Arsenal.
No, but you need to compare. But again,
we're talking about Arsenal.
I
don't care about other teams. We're talking about Arsenal.
The thing is,
the benchmark. Exactly right. The benchmark is. Guess what? Go on. Sorry. Go on.
No. What I'm going to say is that, right, we actually do need to compare it to other teams in the Premier League because we need to see what they're paying. And if they're looking across and they're saying, hold on, they're getting
what are the teams we should be comparing to? What are the teams you're comparing to? Man City and Liverpool that win stuff.
Yeah, I hear that, but still, we're in there, no? But aren't we wanting?
We're not winning anything.
I hear that, even though we're not winning anything, but don't we want to?
If we win stuff, then the comparison kicks out. If we don't win anything, then it's a false comparison because we don't win anything.
Ain't players, aren't we going? The reason why we're actually wanting to sign Sesko, Gyokeres, and the rest of these players, because we wanted to come in and do what? Win trophies, right? So everyone is coming in. You know what? We want to win a trophy. All right. I think, especially, you need to remember this. It's no longer a point. I'm just speaking to the player. I'm speaking to the agent. The agent is going to be like, well, listen, this guy's a world beater. He's going to be in about a year. He's got so much potential, right? 15k now. He's going to be 100k.
And this is how much other teams are willing to offer.
You're all dancing around the statistical facts that I've just given you.
No,
we are horrendously overpaying for shit players.
Some, yes.
What we're doing is
not entirely
not some, most. I'll send you it over. It's most.
Right,
I just labeled 3/4 of the squad, and most of them were more than double, more than treble. Some of them about 10 times over.
Can I see this? Casemiro, Mason Mount, 300k, done nothing.
Don't care.
Mason Mount, hold on. Mason Mount, 275k. Grealish, 375k, right? I know that you're mentioning that they've won things, right? But you need to think about it now. Is that
they've won stuff.
Okay, but what I'm trying to say is that when they're choosing to come to these teams, they're expecting a certain wage. They're looking across the board and like, okay, he's earning that over there. He's earning that over there. There's a couple of clubs that are in for me, and they're going to offer me the same thing. You have to pay what you have to pay.
I think you can afford to. Okay, I think you can afford to pay what you have to pay when you're a successful winning team. When you're not, it's desperate. It's poor business.
No,
when you're not winning anything,
yes
you're
and
just
no.
overpaying for crap. If
Yeah,
Arsenal would
I know
have
what
won
you're
the
saying.
Premier League title and an FA Cup, you'd have gone, who really gives a shit what everyone's on because Arsenal just won the Premier League and the FA Cup?
Which was my point about
But
Havertz.
we don't win them
Yeah.
stuff.
But
So now you
Aaron,
can go,
can't
maybe we're
back-
just
you can't
overpaying
go
for crap.
back- You can't go back and redo. So what you're saying, I agree with. But just because we didn't win something doesn't change the fact that at the beginning and when we signed them, we had to offer that to give them the opportunity to try and win something.
Okay, so
even if you don't, doesn't mean that changes your
Three-
decision on what you made. You agree.
3 summers ago.
Sorry?
3 summers ago, we set a benchmark and gave Gabriel Jesus. We didn't know how that was going to go, but we knew he wasn't going to be the 2025 goal of season striker. We knew that anyway.
He was
We
looking
gave him 265k. So when
he was looking at it.
He was.
he wasn't. He's a
He was.
He's a 27-year-old man. He's a 27-year-old man who's never scored more than 14 league goals in an entire career.
Yeah, because
So
he
we
never
can't say
played
that he was
striker
looking
for an
like
entire season. He was always playing on the wing.
and he got injured after 4 months. So and by the way, he had a goal scoring barren run of about a month and a half in that. By the way, he was playing fantastically well. Fact, I can't argue with that. But he also wasn't scoring; he was assisting. So we can't go down that avenue because stats are on my side. We just can't. Anyways, we set a benchmark of 265k a week. So when Havertz comes in and goes, all right, yeah, sweet. Who's your highest earner and what position does he play? And Arteta's going, well, we signed him as a midfield, which is a crock of shit because now he's playing up front because he was shit midfield. What does that shriek of? Oh, yeah, Mikel Merino. But anyways, I digress. He goes, all right, we'll have 280k a week. Boom. So now guess what happens? When we sign Benjamin Sesko or when we sign Gyokeres, if we sign either, guess what happens? Their agent's going to come in and go, all right, what's your striker on?
It's normal.
What's your highest earner on? 280k a week. And he's a striker. Do you reckon as a good agent, he's going to go, all right, well, if Kai Havertz, the geezer we've came in to replace is on 280k a week, then, well, we want 280, 300. Yeah. We set our own benchmark of ridiculous crap. We've overpaid.
We do need to reset
Is Havertz worth 280k a week? No. Is Jesus worth 265 a week? No. But they're going to use that as the benchmark, especially when the specific player that we're bringing in is going to be their replacement. They're going to go, well, if Sesko's coming in and he's your £80 million man, we want to put him on more than 280k a week.
And you do have to wonder what Kai Havertz's wages meant for the renewals of our key players.
All of a sudden, you've got 3 players on there. We've got 3 strikers in there, neither of which have ever proven in the top 5 leagues they can score more than 15 league goals in the last 3 seasons, and yet they're on 750k a week to 800k a week between them in wages, costing over 200 million pounds. And people are trying to tell me Arsenal Football Club ain't in a mess. It's a fucking joke, an absolute steaming pile of shit. That's what the strike force is.
I think it's a mess.
It's a laughable joke. Yeah. It's a joke.
Man United are in a much worse state in terms of.
And look what they're doing, bro. And they win trophies.
I can't agree with that, man.
We don't have as many players on high wages as them, bro. And but I do hear some of your points. Come on,
man. I get it, Aaron. But for you to say we're in an absolute mess, nah. I disagree.
Well, we are because we haven't won anything in the last 5 years.
We're not in a mess.
Manchester United is the worst Manchester United team we've ever seen. They've made about 5 or 6 finals and they've won 2 trophies in the same period. So if Manchester United are in a mess, then what the fuck are we in? If we're in our best,
and that's the thing. And that's we're not in a mess. Listen, guys, Aaron, we're not in a mess. We just need to sign the players that we need to sign.
We're in a hole. We're in a kettle.
Wages? Nah, bro.
We're in purgatory.
Come on, guys.
We are. We're just in la la land. We've got a fan base.
Right now, we're in limbo. That's what
we are.
But that's to the fans, though. I think internally, Cronkies, they're cool. We're in the champs.
That's what he is. Kill the head vampire. Arteta, Dracula. Arteta, aka Dracula. You get rid of him, and then everyone else wakes up. And then everyone goes, oh, yeah, what are we doing for the last 6 years? That's what we need to do. That's why we don't win anything, because Dracula, Arteta, is allergic to Silva. That's what he is. That's what he is.
He's not the one who decides.
He's allergic to Silva.
He has no say on transfer fees, and he has no say on wages.
Arteta has literally come out, my friend, and quote by quote said, "I have the last say on transfer." So you're talking about
but that's on a player, not on actual financials. Come on, you're smarter than that, bro. Come on.
Yeah. But you just said about players. Yeah, but we're talking about players. We're talking about
deal with finances. That I agree with you.
We're talking about players,
but it's not on Arteta, bro. That's on Richard Garlick. That's on Tim Lewis.
But we weren't talking. I was talking about players. I wasn't talking about so where is the money then? Where's the money? Because in the last 2 years, we've renewed the Fly Emirates deal. We've also renewed Adidas. We've also renewed Visit Rwanda. We've also changed our training ground to Sober Realty. We've had Bitcoin investments. We've also had off of PSR and FFP. The last European and no Europe come off of it. We've never been in a healthier position. Why last summer we happened to make profit in the transfer market? Why are we not spending any money now?
Which is why I questioned you, Aaron, with whether it was our choice or whether we had to. I still don't know whether it was our choice or we had to.
If we chose to not spend any money, that's even fucking worse. And keep the manager. Last summer, if we chose, then that means we didn't choose to back the manager. Why is he still here for another year?
But I don't agree with that, Aaron. I don't agree with that, Aaron, because we did back him because we gave him money to spend. Even though we made a profit, think about it. He actually did spend some money, right? So they did back him. He chose the players that.
And look what he spent it with. Look what he spent it on.
I know. He misspent it.
Calafiori.
He misspent it.
And Mikel Marino.
Window, by the way.
We've done a good job as an emergency striker, though. And when he got played back in midfield after Thomas Partey got injured, he found his level. Vitinha, Ruiz, and co took the piss out of him when he went back in midfield, and that's why we signed him. What are we doing here? Come on. Calafiori is class. What class is he? What selling underwear?
Calafiori's cool, man. He's got to pattern up, but I believe in Calafiori.
Brother, one-on-one, he's Andre Santos. One-on-one.
He's got a lot to work on. $1,000,000%,
bro.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying.
Nah, he's not
Calafiori going forward is so much better
he's
than him.
a million miles away from Man.
Way better.
That's cap.
This is the only thing about my fellow Arsenal fans is that we see a player and he might not be the best right now. For example, the older guy, the Calafiori. Yeah, listen, Calafiori, he has some things to improve. He's 21, 22, first of all, right?
That's cool. So, but last summer, when we needed a team to build for now, why are we signing 21-year-olds then?
Bro, all right, cool. So in hindsight, if we didn't sign Calafiori with those injuries that we had, right? Bearing in mind, I'm with you in terms of the strikers and the attackers that we're supposed to sign. But if we didn't make those signings, where would have been? We would have been where Man United have been, or even Tottenham.
We would have been there if Miles Lewis-Skelly and Ranieri come through.
Aaron, my friend, what I'm trying to say respectfully, my bro, I completely agree in terms of your frustration, in terms of the wages and stuff like this. Players are not reaching their heights, right? Okay, and I completely agree with you right there. But one thing I don't agree with is that we are miles away. We're not miles away. Our wage structure is not a mess. Yes, it needs to be rectified. Yes, it needs to be looking at. For example, listen, think about it, right? We're looking at these players thinking, you know what? I think there's a player in him. I think he could last for the next 3-4 years. Hence the reason why we're giving him these wages. If we didn't think that, we wouldn't have given him. But now we need to retract that and look at them. It's like, all right, these players that we once thought that were good are no longer that. So we need to start looking at other players. Okay,
if Calafiori is so good, then why did a 17-year-old left 8 take his place?
Injuries.
No. But when Calafiori was fit, he still didn't win his place back. So if Calafiori was so good for 40 million quid, and some of the people said he's so good in the Euros, then why is a 17-year-old left 8 midfielder
let me answer that
keeping it?
Okay, so why did he get signed up? Why did Miles Skelly get turned up to the England squad? Because he was that good, right? It's not like he was just kind of being a patch or a plaster.
But I thought Calafiori was that good.
Calafiori
was that good, though.
Listen, Calafiori is good, but once you've got a player there that's come in from your graduate and been like, listen, I want this spot, right? And he's showing you performances. So
what we're saying is the 40 million signing that we made ain't as good as an academy kid that's in his breakout season, and he's a midfielder. That's what we're saying.
That's
bad.
That one is bad. I have to
although
only at Arsenal.
Although it's bad, but it's showing you how good Skelly actually is.
It's proving my point.
It's not, but it's showing you how good Skelly actually is.
Bro. But bro, you know why I think fans like Aaron are upset about signings like that is because we needed that striker and then we went and spent that 40 million on him, and then he doesn't even start every game and you're playing. I get it. Like I feel the same thing. I'm like, bro, we could have gotten that attacking midfielder for 40 million. And
yeah. I agree with you. And the thing is, another thing that I didn't like is the fact that we're taking so bloody long to take these transfers, right? And bring them in through the door. Because now we're left with hardly any time to bring in these other people to start doing things.
Wait, just quickly, I've just seen someone not nice in the chat. Listen to how demented some Arsenal fans are. Calafiori is Saliba backup, not left back. Get your facts right, Aaron.
Yeah.
So Calafiori, the left-sided centre-back, and Arteta don't play left-sided centre-backs at right-back. Is Saliba's backup. What are we doing here? That's everything.
Saliba's backup is Timber.
That's everything wrong with the fan base there. That is
people don't have all the information.
Not nice. You are a helmet, son, man. That is the worst. That is the worst comment I've ever seen in the chat, possibly ever. What a retard. What are we doing?
Everyone, man. Peace and love, man. It's Friday.
What are we
Friday,
doing
Friday,
here,
man. Lads, chat. People come, man. Be calm, man. Do you know what? Yeah, obviously, as we close up here, I want to go over a couple things with you lot, because you lot were on the topic of wages. We all know Nico Williams is someone that's been linked with us. I don't know for Ben Jacobs' credibility, but we do know
credible. He's credible.
I don't know, man. If it's not Ornstein or Romano, I don't really want to hear it. But big him up same way. We all know we've been linked with Nico Williams, and we've all been talking about wages. We all know about his release clause and wages. Apparently, he's open to reducing his salary demands to join Barcelona. So there is a bit of to-in and fro-in. Where do we go from here? Because I said earlier, I don't think this guy wants to join Arsenal or anyone else. He's whoring himself out for Barcelona. Where do we go from here then if we don't get Nico Williams first thing?
Why do you believe that he's doing that for Barcelona? I don't believe that, by the way.
Because he wants to join them. It's simple as that. Stay in Spain. Barcelona's a big club. Link up with Yalmao.
Yeah, but he's been linked with them so many times. I've read so many times. He wants them. He doesn't. He wants. It's like so hot and cold.
It's either that or Bilbao. If worse comes to worse, he goes elsewhere. I'm not saying he wouldn't be interested in Arsenal or we're not an attractive club or anything like that. I just feel clearly from what I read as just a fan, he don't want to join Arsenal.
January,
it stinks of Rafinha. When we was going for Rafinha, he wanted Barca, and then Chelsea was second.
In January, Arsenal met with his camp in Spain, and he gave us the green light to make a move, which is what is supposed to transpire this summer. Now, the only
like you said, this is football, man. I'm telling people yes all the time. I have no doubt if the Barca thing flops, Bilbao flops, and certain other things, he'd want to join us. But people are meeting with people all the time, having conversations all the time, giving their words. We're gonna get onto Gyökeres, but Gyökeres, the whole gentleman's agreement. Words don't mean nothing unless it's signed, bro.
Yeah,
this is business.
Think about it from his perspective. He's in a good position. Multiple clubs want him. There's a 50 million release clause that needs to be paid up front. So it's like
you're gonna play them all.
Sorry?
So you're gonna play all parties against each other. Put yourself
in issue. Bro, he's in a position to do that. Like, if we want him, we gotta fight for him, right? Like, and he's gotta reduce his wage demands, which is clear that he's gonna do, because he realized that nobody in the Premier League is willing to pay for him. By the way, same issue with Osimhen and why he's not being linked to any Premier League clubs, because everyone said no. What you're asking for is too much. We're not interested unless you reduce it. And I wouldn't be surprised if Osimhen ends up in Saudi Arabia. With Nico Williams, he has to reduce his wages if he wants to move, and he wants to come to the Prem. This guy's money driven for sure, because I remember in January he was speaking. And
nothing wrong with that. Get your bread, man.
Yeah, of course, nothing wrong with that. He wants to improve economically, and everyone who wants to do that wants to come to the Premier League. So now, knowing that teams like Chelsea and Arsenal want him, he's going to try to get the best deal. The other side of the coin is that Arteta's spoken to him. He's Arteta's dream. We've wanted him for 2 years. You know, we're going to wait around to see if this guy changes his mind, in my opinion. I mean, everyone we're signing is Spanish, right? Kepa, Zubamendi, Nico Williams, Marino. I mean, like, we're becoming a Spanish team over here, the Spanish Confederation. So I
sign the wavy Spanish brothers, man, or anyone from any country. Actually,
I personally think that he will move and he will reduce his wages. For me, the way I see this window panning out is Sesko, Nico Williams, Zubamendi, Hato, and Kepa. That's how I think it's going to play out.
Which one do you two go with out of Gyokeres and Sesko, if not both? Because I would love us to get both, but it's unrealistic.
I would personally get one of them and get a Watkins as well, because I still want a prem-proven guy. Yeah, I want 2 strikers, but I want one of them to be a prem-proven guy, because listen, the thing that I keep hearing is that Sesko, you know, Arteta wants Sesko. Is he going to do well? But how do we know that Gyokeres is going to do well? We're talking about historical figures, right? Cool. But every single person that's come out of the Portuguese league and scored more than 30 goals and won the Golden Boot hasn't done really well. You can look up the list. So how do we know that this guy is going to come in and do exactly the same?
They're both gambles or educated risks, quote unquote.
Exactly. So I would want potentially, especially if Watkins is going to be 40 to 60 million, go get a prem-proven guy and then go get one of them.
Do you know what? Your facts, yeah, you're right. But do you know what the difference is between here, my friend? If I had a digital gun to your head and said to you, all right, one scored 89 league goals over the last 3 seasons, one's got 43. Now, choose one right now. Who would you choose? The geezer that's got 89 and the geezer that's got 43?
Cool.
I
But at the
actually
same time,
I think Sesko's a good
but at
striker.
the same time,
Which one would you choose?
hold on. But at the same
No, I've
time,
already said I'll go with Gyökeres because it's a bit different to what we
Mortgage is
do.
on the line. Let's choose a less morbid thing. The mortgage is on the line. Who would you choose?
Nunez.
Yeah, no, I'll go with Gyökeres because I think it's different to what Arsenal normally do. It's right. It's not really potential. It's here now.
Okay, but look at the
But
same
make your
Nunez.
point now. We're cutting you.
Look at the same Nunez. Look at the same Nunez.
No, there's defo concerns. Man can't move like Gyökeres is a
And the
sure
thing is,
bet
the
and
thing is,
stuff
and the thing
like
is, you
that.
need to remember, guys. You need to remember, guys, that there's not really many big clubs going for him. Barcelona need a striker because they've got an age Lewandowski that's 39-40, right? There's a couple of clubs that are looking for strikers right now, and there's not that many big clubs that are linked with him. That's my main concern, right? And I've looked at him as well. I'm starting to look at him. I'm like, in terms of a composure, in terms of finishing, yeah, don't get me wrong, he scored a load of goals, but he's very erratic with his finishing.
What big clubs are in for Sesko?
Just Chelsea and Arsenal. There isn't much either.
Chelsea,
United last year, and they're linked with him every now and again.
Bayern was one at one
Saudi
point.
Arabia and Italy.
Bayern was one at one point.
This is why I asked who would you put your mortgage on, because you're right, bruv. We don't know. Either one of them could flop. Either one of them could bang. Both of them could bang. We actually don't know. But if you're gonna put a gun to murder or ask me, which one are you gonna pick? I'm gonna pick the geezer that puts.
So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, Aaron.
Who
do you think has the more skill set?
What right now? Right now, I want the geezer that puts the ball in the back of the net more. Arsenal Football Club need now. Arsenal Football Club need now. They don't need what might be. We needed what might be 2 or 3 years ago. We need now.
I completely hear that.
That's where I'm going down.
But the thing is, we're on a. Is it Sesko? Is it Gyokeres? Right? Because obviously the side of Sesko, he's too young. We don't know if he's going to perform. And the side of Gyokeres is like he's come from a lower league, a farm league, and we don't know if he's going to translate those numbers into the Prem. So if we take those away now, right, we need to see who has the better skill set that can be like, okay, even if they're not scoring that many goals, which Isak has done when he first came to Newcastle, scored about 8-10 goals, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, the reason why he was valuable is because of his skill set. He could transition, he can interchange, he can set up. Right, so we need a player.
Can do it, genuinely.
That's what I'm trying to say. So we need to go. That's the thing I'm talking about.
I know people talk about Gyokeres has 12 to 18 penalties. He doesn't score headers. I think there's nitpicking on both sides. I think there's a lot of high risk to reward for both of them. I think there's a lot of upside. Obviously, if you sign Gyokeres, you've and he doesn't bang, you've dropped yourself in it. If you sign Sesko, you're in that thing now every year, kind of like what we're doing with Martinelli, or we're in it. But my point is, obviously, I want Gyokeres because I think it's a bit different. Like it's just different to what we do. I'm a big fan of Sesko. My point being, God forbid, if we sign either or and they don't bang, we just need to at some point just sign another one. Like with Liverpool, they're linked with strikers. Nunez didn't bang, keep it moving. I think that's the trap we get into as fans. Obviously, with Sesko, there's younger and whatnot. I guess they've scouted him. He probably looks like, quote unquote, he fits the system more. But away from Gyokeres' goals, I do think he affects the game without scoring. He works the channels. I know people are talking about his headers. If a man's got 50 goals, I'm not going to care that, oh my God, he's only scored 2 headers. I just think we need to get one. That's where I'm crossing over. Gyokeres, Sesko, make sure one's at the Emirates next year.
My sort of thing is Arsenal Football Club, we've dealt with in the last 5 years, we've dealt with strikers who can score 10 to 14 Premier League goals.
And if Marino and
we scored 22 less goals in the league last season, and we also got twice as many draws, which tells me we haven't got the guy to put the ball into the net to turn draws into wins. Yeah, we've scored 22 less goals. We need someone to put the ball in the back of the net. Now, if you're looking at it from my perspective, I don't want to replace a geezer that scores 14 Premier League goals with a geezer that scores 14 Premier League goals. I want to at least risk it. If you're gonna give a Hail Mary, I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with a geezer that can score a lot more goals. Now, it's Benjamin Sesko. This is what I'm saying. 3 years ago, or 3 seasons ago, Austrian League 16. Bundesliga, 14. Last season in the Bundesliga, 13. He's not even in an upward trajectory, rather. Like, okay, I get it. Different leagues, different this and all that. I totally get it. But Gyokeres has proven that he can put the ball in the net. He's proven that he can put the ball in the back of the net at a higher frequent level. And at this stage in Arsenal Football Club, whether it's Arteta's last hurrah, and you're rolling the dice and you're going, we've got a power play. Yeah. 1 season left. Who are we going to go with? We're going to go with the geezer that averages 14 league goals, or we're going to go with the geezer that averages about 30.
Let me just chime in on this,
you
yeah.
want down.
Let me just chime in while you lot are speaking, yeah. I saw this with Sam Dean. He said, on the topic of comparing different leagues, this is an interesting analysis by Opta. I know stats ain't everything, it's just food for thought. They rank the Portuguese top flight below the Championship and the Belgian League and say that 11 of the 18 teams in Portugal are at a similar level to League One.
Yeah.
So is the Gyökeres?
Can I ask something to Aaron? Can I ask something to Aaron? Because that is crazy. That is absolutely crazy. But can I ask something to Aaron? Right. So you want Gyökeres, right? And I would love
I
Gyökeres.
prefer Gyökeres.
Yeah, no, I hear that, and I'm with you, right? So imagine Gyökeres comes and he stinks up the place. What happens now? Is it a case where we blame the manager or do we blame the player itself that he's absolutely stinky?
To be fair, yeah, I get the question. I think it's just one of them things. You've tried, haven't you? And the same can be said with Sesko, by the way. The same can be said with Sesko. You've gone out there,
neither have time. They have to deliver immediately,
and you signed some. But it's not really about that. It's like both of them equally could fail. Both of them could equally succeed. It's all about, did you try? Yes, I respect that. But why did it take 5 years for us to sign a striker? We sold Aubameyang 2.5 years ago. Why has it taken us this long to get to this level? That's also the frustration that has to be added into it. It's just annoying. We've all known 2 years ago we needed a striker. Why can we get Ivan Toney for 20-30 million? It'd have probably helped us win a league a year or two ago. Do you know what I mean? It's frustrating. Whilst, I do totally get your point, bruv. Do you know what I mean? What if it don't work? What if it don't work for any striker? That's an absolute fact. And do you know what? If they've put their money in there where their mouth is and they've gone, 80 million on either of the signings, and it don't work, fair dues, because you've actually give it a go. So I'll put my hands up on both. If neither work, fair dues. You've tried.
Would you blame the manager or would you give him enough? For example, like, we bring in, imagine whether we bring in Sesko, we bring in Gyokeres, right? And either of them flop, right? We spent the money, but if they do flop, do you blame the manager or do you give him a leeway? What would you do?
I would blame the manager more with Sesko, only because the dog work was apparently done a year ago and Berta wasn't there. So we can't say this is Berta's son, is it not? If this Sesko deal has been done, or it's a year in the making, or 6 months in the making, more of the blame would naturally, for me, lie on Arteta, purely because he's been involved in the deal longer. So that's where I'd sort of scared of maybe lay that.
I must admit, I'm a bit shook at that.
That's where I'd lay maybe the
blame. Because if you're a bad boy striker, you can disarm him.
Gyökeres, you know what I mean? If you're sort of sitting there and thinking, okay, now it's both of their-ish. They're both there. You can sort of make an assessment as to who's what. I don't know. But definitely what we can say is Sesko is only one of them men. One of them two men are there. And it was Arteta. But yeah.
So if we don't get those two strikers, right? Who would you go for?
If we don't sign either of them?
If we don't sign either of them, who would you go for?
Yeah, man. Put the P's down on a bad boy left winger, man, and just get a competent
I'm only unrealistically saying this.
This is real Ferdinand's comments. You can read it while you're talking.
I'll throw a Hail Mary and just go, here, guys. 150 quid, 150 million. There's free Zach. You're desperate then, you throw it in there. I know it won't happen. And
if he gets injured, you'll be the first one here saying,
come.
Get me my Rodrigo, man. I'm dreaming, I know.
But yeah.
I don't think Rodrigo's coming.
Me neither, by the way. Me neither.
We're not getting Leao, Williams, or Rodrigo.
That's why I think we need to actually go for Mitoma. Right? We need to go for Mitoma.
But there's not serious interest. I like it.
I hear that. If we're not going to... Let's think about it. If we're not going to go,
Jesus would be like an signing left.
And he's telling me, wait, I need to speak to the manager. Sod off. I'm sorry. As much as I love Rodrigo, sod off. Right? Leao, there's discrepancies.
He's gonna go Bayern.
It's inconsistencies. Cool. Yeah. Then we need to get Mitoma. We need to go.
Or what about Lookman? There's Lookman as well.
I don't want. I'm sorry.
I wouldn't be against Lookman, to be fair.
It's a good opportunity to be.
I'm scared about when he was last in the Prem. I was scared about it.
Yeah, but that might give him the fire. It's a bit like Gyökeres. When I was in England, Brighton weren't rating me. I've had good and bad moments in my career. I'm ready now.
Well, you've right to have reservations, though. You've right to have reservations. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Like Mourinho has actually played at Newcastle and he was crap at Newcastle. You know what I mean?
No, you're right. So let's look at what Ferdinand says here. Let's look at what Ferdinand says. What do you think about that, guys?
I'll read it out as well, man. Is he, in brackets, Gyokeres, the right guy? Listen, he has some really good attributes. I've not seen enough to be totally convinced. When I see him in the Champions League, when people match up him physically, I'd love to see more in that sense. But there's no denying he knows where the goal is. In Portugal, he's been banging them in left, right, and centre. For Man United, obviously, we don't care about that. At this moment in time, I'd go for experience more than anything. Doesn't seem particularly upbeat, doesn't seem bad, but it does seem like red flags of someone that is available and there's everybody wants a 9 and whatnot.
Yeah.
But he might be.
I like Gyokeres, but it's these things put doubt in my mind.
You know what? He might be privy to information that he knows he's not coming to United, hence he's speaking in a certain way to kind of down. You know, I don't know. I'm just raising that as potentially something, but also like we're considering like, okay, Portuguese league is crap, but bro, this guy bags in the Champions League, and that's a benchmark for me.
And the Championship,
the Champions League, bro.
And to be fair, the goals don't change. If you can score goals in Portugal, you can in England, unless the goals are different and the dynamics are different.
The thing for me is
I do like Sesko.
He doesn't fit our team. So I've wanted Gyokeres for 2 years now. I wanted him last year when no one wanted him, and he had an injury, and he had to get surgery, and he came back, and I was waiting to see if Arsenal was going to make a move, or if anyone was going to make a move, and no one made a move, and I was like, interesting. Why? Like, he's so good. He was already scoring a lot. People were already questioning, like, why is anyone going for this guy?
Guys,
I like that comment. I like that comment. Someone said Gyokeres that might not hacker against Tarkowski.
To be fair, that's not an easy get. To be fair, we can
I'll say this here. One thing I've said about
that's not easy.
Listen, it's not easy. One thing I said about Gyokeres, he's a unit, right? He's a unit, and
that's why I love him.
He can push these guys well, right?
Just bully, man.
Do you think he's going to be able to get past that low block?
No, I mean, maybe.
But that's what I mean, bro. The system, I don't know how Arteta does it. I ain't got UEFA coaching badges and all of that. But that is going to be said for Sesko. That's going to be said for whoever's left wing. That's going to be said for the existing options.
Sesko fits our system. He plays our system.
Fitting systems now, man.
He's an F.
Bro,
I'm not getting vexed at you, but this is something
but we're not going to change
about,
it.
bro.
We're not going to change it
you
now.
can boo, bro. Can you press? Can you work the channels? Yo, fuck. Is that means the system is flawed? How you?
I know. He's gonna hang himself.
What was that, man? About Ryan Cherky.
He's gonna hang himself. He's not going to change it. He knows
bro, that's not point.
He's upset, man.
To do things tactically, whatever the fuck it is.
He's upset.
Yeah,
sorry, I'm protecting African Gooner. I hear it.
I love this.
Is it wrong of me to like it? I'm liking it.
I'm loving it. This is what we need, right?
I'm so fucking busy playing devil's advocate every 5 minutes. I love
it. You see the
now.
No, the system thing fucks me right over, man. Fuck that system shit, bro. Like, fuck it. Fuck it. Because look who's playing up respectfully. I'm not even trying to get at Kai Havertz or Marino. If that man can fit the system, a striker can. Can you press? We all, I mean, I don't care about it per se with Sesko, but people talk about how high he can jump, how fast he is. Man can do that. Gyokeres can do that. If you're a baller, you're a baller. How do we know Rodrigo fits our system?
No. But DG, there's different types of ballers. You play, so you know. And
I know, but brother, he's got 2 feet. Like he's got 10 toes. Man can play ball, bro.
Kai Havertz and Sesko are very alike, but Sesko's a better finisher and he has a better brain. My opinion. I still think it's a mistake. Obviously, we shouldn't have gone Kai Havertz.
Gyokeres is intelligent.
It's also worth noting our system doesn't win.
Sure. But you know what? That's the whole point. Our system doesn't win because we don't have someone who can finish, and we don't have someone who can carry the ball, create dangerous moments.
If we were Real Madrid, I would hear that. Or one of them kind of teams like a prime Arsenal, prime Barca, prime Real Madrid. I'm being disingenuous, but I would hear that you can't fit the system and all of that. Respectfully, come on, man. We've probably no doubt spoken. There's a bunch of players we'll take in the Prem. We don't necessarily
going to win a Premier League title under Arteta. Are we going to have
we can't answer that question.
What you say?
Listen, if we
and you could argue we need players that don't fit the system and give us something to think about.
Any of that under Arteta?
I hope so.
So DG, I agree with you that I think that the system has probably failed, but we also haven't put all the pieces in for it to really give it a chance to say, hey.
I hear that, bro, they've had enough now, man. And even I know Sesko Gyokeres isn't Haaland, but there's give and take. You change 1-2 things.
Yeah, but also, guys, it's much bigger than that. That's why I don't understand. It's not just about the striker. If you get Sesko, but you get Rodrigo, no one's saying nothing, bro. That's devastating.
No, I am. You still need to get a defender, and you Arteta again. I'm going to keep saying it. you still need to fucking work on the training ground because I don't think signage just takes us where we need to go.
But in terms of outright on who we bring in, we're only looking at the left winger and striker. Like you can bring in whatever defender. I really don't give a crap about which defender or even this goalkeeper like we're saying about Kepa. No one really cares. I'm only looking at the striker now because we already know we got Zubimendi, and I'm looking at the left winger. If you get Sesko who fits our system and he can play with everyone, and he's more likely to fit the mold and the age and everything, and then you get someone like Rodrigo, then no one questions it because then you have a deadly player on the left wing who's going to bring that attack and the whatever, and Sesko might have time to fit in, and he's going to be rotated with Kai. People don't understand this. People think whoever we sign is just going to come in and start. Guys, let's be honest, that's not going to happen.
We need to remember one thing, right? Last season, we were top 3 of big chances created. Top 3, right? And then when you look at the different stat in terms of finishing those big chances, we're actually in the lower top, the last 3. Right, so that proves that simple stat alone proves that.
But there's also I ain't got them to hand, but there's also statistics which show that our creativity could go up a 10-fold.
Bro.
But I hear you because what you're alluding to, you get a clinical man that takes those 2 chances. We're lit, but really, 38 games, a man gets 2 chances. As great as the striker is, are they always gonna bag?
I hear that, but what I'm trying to say is like 91 chances. The top one was Liverpool, which is 112. Next one up was 93, which was Chelsea, and then before that, under us, it was Manchester City and Aston Villa. Right. So all we need is just that gunman. That gunman should just come and be like, listen, I'm gonna.
That's not all we need, bruv. That's not all we
need.
No.
I hear that in a figure of speech. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. In figure of speech, it's just
I'll let you have that.
Like, because you know what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I'll let you.
Do you know what it is? You know what I'm gonna say, right? I know my club. We all know our club, right? We're talking about we need a right winger. We need this. We need that. We might just sign one striker.
No. Promise. There's no way.
As long as you make sure we got operating system, I don't care how you do it, by hook or by crook. Just make sure you do it in it.
Listen, don't be surprised if we just go and sign one player.
I don't even want to hear it because people will. You know what we were talking about, the fans turning. I think that happens immediately. If we only sign a striker, I'm gone. I'm not even giving it.
The new one will be give Berta another window. He's just come in. You couldn't have expected him to do everything straight away.
I get that.
I
get that. But the point why I say about Berta is whilst yes, I get it, you got to give him time, does not mean he's not exempt from being questioned what he does today.
Yeah.
That's a fact for me.
He's not a little boy being walking around the playground. He came in with a CV, he's an old man, he knows what he's doing. He's one of best in class. Let's get it right. Do you think
you don't seem to think
whilst he was at Atletico Madrid, do you reckon? What do you reckon he was doing there? He's got targets. He's got this and all that. He's not just coming in and going, what we doing?
He's gonna have to deliver.
He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. And when I saw my contract and say for argument's sake, let's just say for fun, he is employed by Arsenal on the 1st of June. I expect you to start working on the 1st of June. No leeway period. You're not a little baby. You're not a little boy. It's not work experience. Start working now. If you've got that CV, bring it to me.
And I hope they're just letting him do his job because we've all worked. We've all been in office environments. Berta can have all the ideas he wants. If people are not listening and singing from the same hymn sheet and providing something different, then it's essentially just more of the same. The club's giving themselves no place to hide. Like, I disagree with you lot in the sense that the fans are going to get vexed in that, but that's realistic that it could boil over, and I hope the club consider that. I don't think
that the fans are just going to sit and let it.
God forbid, unless we're 8th and it's madness that. I don't think we're up in arms, bro.
Okay,
I'll tell you this now, right? If we sign one striker, right? It's not going to be toxic. I promise you.
Nah, you're crazy.
It won't, because man start rationalizing things. When you say the same things enough times, it becomes cool.
We got a striker, but
no.
Bro, I've seen people put a positive spin on Raheem Sterling on deadline day. Anything can happen. Anything can happen.
Sure, of course.
I'm not gonna lie. See that interview?
They'll be excited.
He's
Jamaican. I tried to back it. It was dead.
And then I was like,
and then what did we get? No goals in the Prem? Did he score in the Prem?
Look,
I'm gonna say he did because I'm a bit scared he didn't.
If we only sign Sesko as our attacking signing this summer, I don't believe that the fan base will be behind the transfer window. In my opinion, there's no way. It has to be.
You're forgetting optimism, bro. If Martinelli, if Trossard, Marino Stoney can play up front, Kai will be fully fit.
No, man,
Bro, Arsenal fans are the easiest boys and girls to gas, you know.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Guys, we know what we need to do. It's very simple.
Because we're the weakest form. We're the weakest fan base ever, man.
I honestly, I don't believe that. I think a lot of
there you go. 5 years. Ooh,
I think a lot of Arsenal fans.
We've got a new little song. We've squeezed lemons. We've turned the light bulb on.
The strange thing is, I like
We've reinvented electricity.
It's now about winning, though.
Goosebumps. Prepared to be excited. What are we doing here?
I personally believe that if we only sign Sesko, I don't think the fan base would be happy, and I don't think we would accept it.
I promise you, there's gonna be a selective fan like us. We're gonna be
There'll
like,
be
no,
maybe
not good
5%.
enough. But I'm telling you now, we sound Sesko. Oh, you know what? Even worse, we sound Gyokeres, and don't sign anybody else. Fans are gonna be like, yep. Right.
Some fans believe it's just a striker thing, you know. I hear the logic.
Okay.
Some people think you just sign a striker, we're lit. We're winning everything. We're gone. Like, that's not right.
We're actually saying we need more than that.
Yeah, let me tell you something.
You speak to them like, yeah, we need a striker. We're done. We're winning the Prem.
If we sign Sesko, and you're right, okay, I hear what you're saying. You're saying if we sign Sesko and then or Gyokeres and then we don't sign anyone by the end of the window, then some fans will just look at it and say, okay, let's go. I believe we'll just say, okay, whatever, let's go. Let's see what we can make happen. And my personal belief is that within those first 3-4 games, if no improvements are being seen with that one striker, then fans will not accept it, right?
I agree with that. It could be toxic very early, but I don't like, man, they've survived that, bro. We've all watched the All or Nothing. They've survived their battle. Like, genuinely, certain man at this club have survived madness. What is finishing second? What and the semi-finals and all of this? This is gravy. This is cool.
Yeah, man. As much as I don't want it, bro. African, as much as I don't
want that, I know. The fact that you're scaring me now, because I didn't even think we would do that.
Bro, do you know what it is? Because we're talking about end of June. We're talking about this, right? But the reality is, it's happened before. So you need to put that at the back of your mind. We need to be like, okay, we might not get anybody, right? We might just get one. We might even get Watkins. That's how bad it is. That's at the back of my head. That's what I'm thinking right now. Bro. We might even get Watkins, right?
I will be so dejected. I mean, look, and not about Watkins, but I hear what you're saying. You're basically saying, look, we've been scarred. We know how we work.
Yeah.
And
we're on the toxic one.
Which is what Aaron was saying.
See, you, Aaron, you're like, nah, we're not getting
it. Yeah, he was a bit excessive.
I'm just like, listen, I'm reserving. Yeah, I'm reserving.
I truly believe that we know that we have to sign a striker and a winger, and there's no way around it. The level of that player, I question on. Like,
you have to address all areas, bro. There's none of this Arsenal shit about we need a 6 and an 8. We're only getting an 8, no 6. Everything has to be addressed.
Has to be everything.
There's no hiding place now.
The club this summer is not to buy a cam, because I feel my gut feeling is that we have too much to do, and the expectation, in my opinion, that's realistic, is that we won't go and spend another 50, 60, 70 million on getting an attacking mid. If we get a striker, if we get a left winger, if we get Zubamendi, if we get the center back and the backup keeper, I don't go see us.
Yeah, Cam is being parked off for next season.
But if we were smart, we would get Sesko and we get Xavi Simons, who can play left wing and he can play the 10, bro. And that way you don't have to go get another winger.
Do you see that? See that sentence? You see how many ifs you said?
I know. Because I think more than the club. I think about more scenarios. I have plan A, B, C, D.
I agree with you.
You know what? Can I just say, I've gone from one of the worst things to one of the best things in the chat. Arthur Wilson, you've actually hit one out the park here. Still one injury away from chaos. That's why Aaron's saying we need 10 players. That is an outrageous. Exactly right. Because we've been building a squad. Because we've been building a squad for over half a decade with £750 million spent, and yet we still need all this business.
I'll say this. I'll say one thing, right?
Thank you, Arthur.
We need to make sure that we are realistic. When I mean realistic, right, is as much as we want things, as much as Aaron wants 10. Me, DG, and you. Me, you, and DG wants 3, 5.
Reality,
right?
I need 6. 6 would make me
happy. Can I counter quickly ask you this? Why do we still need? Do we realistically need them 10 players? Do you think?
No, not right now.
Them 10 players to complete a squad. Why do we need all of them positions still after 5 years?
Because
why do we still need
another backup goalkeeper after 5 years? Why do we still need another left back after 5 years? Why do we still need the right side centre back after 5 years? Why do we still need 2 strikers after 5 years? Why do we still need to back up the Saka after 5 years? Why do we still need a left winger after 5 years? Why do we still need a cam after 5 years?
Because again, Aaron, my bro, respectfully, I get it, right? I get it. But listen, 3-4 years ago, we thought Martinelli was going to be that guy. It's only the last 2 seasons we're thinking, all right, Martinelli is not that guy.
Maybe not.
Zinchenko, look, left back, right? Zinchenko, sorry, bro. Zinchenko, right, was left back, and then we realized for the last year and a half or 18 months that you said he's not that guy. Right?
And Tomiyasu was really good too.
And what was the point that I made? Arteta either doesn't learn or he
His
takes
mistakes.
too long.
Yeah,
go.
you're right. No one's
Yeah,
disagreeing.
I agree.
It takes too long.
I want to see.
He does.
I don't know about you guys, but
Why do we still need numerous positions? Why do we need to rebuild a squad and then rebuild?
We don't need to rebuild.
We don't need to rebuild. We're just saying the guys.
How many
that
first team? We need a striker.
At the top.
We need a winger, and we need a midfielder.
That's 3 out of 11. That's not a rebuild, bro.
Yeah,
that's
crucial.
He's not done.
Three crucial bit.
Yeah.
Crucial bit. We still ain't got a backup goalkeeper. Oh, Kepa. Oh, we still ain't got a central. Come on, there's still so much of the squad. Did you expect? Okay, let me fancy this up in a different way. Did you expect after 5.5 years that Arsenal Football Club would still not have even one position locked down? Actually, I'll cancel that. Ben White and Timber, that's a good right back. Other than that, what's locked down? Right-sided, Saka and who? Striker and who?
You're right.
Odegaard and who? Artie and who?
Arteta did say 3 times last year before a ball was kicked. We've got one of the smallest squads.
So bad.
But then he's going to turn
when
around.
You learn how to listen. You can see
who made that choice? Who decided that? That was Arteta.
Exactly.
That's why everyone's got to hold that. Everyone from top to bottom. In the same way we win, you get your praise.
Yeah. One thing I have to blame is the fact that we let go of Emma Smith-Rowe, Fabio Vieira,
Reece Nelson.
Right.
And
do you know what? Reece Nelson, the writing was on the wall already.
I know, but 4 players. I know he's
I hear that.
I hear that. 4 players.
But really and truly, was we going to use Reece Nelson? Not really.
Why didn't we replace him?
Why did we give him a new contract?
We did with Sterling
when he scored that goal.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Literally.
I've done this thing when I said about the injuries.
I've
done exactly this thing when I said about the injuries.
I hear that, my bro.
So what you're saying is at the start of the window, we needed 2 attacking talents in, and we sold 4.
And we got in Sterling.
There you go. We needed 2 and we sold 4.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying.
That's the reality of Arsenal Football Club. We needed 2 strikers. We needed 2 forward players, but we've been 4 off instead.
Yeah,
unfortunately, we're always a couple pennies short of a pound, man.
I agree because once we sold Emma Smith-Rowe, naturally we're going to keep hold of Fabio Vieira, and then he gets sold. So I was thinking, okay, naturally we're going to.
They will probably push to leave and play football, but Arteta and the board have to put their foot down. But I actually think last summer they just wanted to make peas, bro.
Recall him in January when we were so depleted.
Oh, that costs money. They're not doing that.
Bro, it's
they're not doing right. You're wrong. They're not doing that.
Hold on. Come on.
I agree. I'm not disagreeing, but put yourself in the club. They don't want to pay no exit clause.
They're not allowed to terminate the loan.
No. Wait. Sorry. Wait. We had an option in the clause in the contract with Porto that we could recall him if we chose. I don't know if there was a small fee or I don't think there was, to be honest. It was our choice. And what I read is that in January, by the time we had figured it out, that date, it was not at the end of the window. It was like the first week or 2 weeks of January, we had to make that call. And by the time we even considered it, the option was gone, bro. That's how slow we were to react and try to figure out.
But to be fair, I don't want him. I don't want him.
I know, but we were so desperate. I know.
I don't want him back. He would have come in and just stunk up the place and did what?
Bro, he would have offered us something better than Sterling, man. Better than
every single time. I hear that, but every single time this guy has come on.
I know the bar is.
Okay, would Arsenal Football Club have had a better transfer window if they signed no one and just kept TSR? Yeah.
Yes.
That's how.
I'm scarred by what we only brought in checks. I'm going to say no, man.
That's how bad our transfer window was. And that was off the back of being so close to Manchester City and needing a striker.
And that's why my point about bringing back Fabio Vieira is like, dude, you just do it because we're so bad. Sterling's stinking up the place, doesn't even play. Noneri not playing. We have nothing, no creativity. We can't do it's just, you just bring him, bro. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But at least you can then again say we tried. We don't try and then we fall and then we're like, oh, then. And then the club's like, no, but next season. And that's what Aaron's frustrated. He's like, well, F you. Like, you had the opportunities to make those decisions and make those changes, and you didn't. So now you want me to believe and trust. And that's why he has that.
But you still trust because they've got you on the mind games. We can only sign players that fit systems.
Well, in this scenario, I don't think we're changing our system. I mean, based off of historically what we're seeing and based on who we've been targeting, it's quite clear and obvious why Sesko is the player that we want. It's because he
100.
fits us. It's not because he's the better player. We've all said here that Gyokeres is the finished article. He's the one that I want. He's the one that I know that he's going to score. But Sesko's the one who's going to fit with the team and fit with the narrative and fit with the mold and the vision of the club. So that's where
I feel sorry for both of them because there's going to be no time. People are going to want 1 million goals because we should have got this before.
I think it's clear why
it depends on who we signed at left wing.
I think it's very clear
that as well.
It's very clear why Arteta signed Benjamin Sesko is because he sees an opportunity to buy himself another season.
But no, but I hear that, Aaron, but there's none of that.
I don't think so.
Oh, he's doing this, he's doing that. It's just
we need to get silverware next year.
Yeah.
Cool, Sesko can have all the time in the world to develop. You need to go line, bro.
So if we are needing a striker as we did, why are we signing a project striker?
But the thing is,
this is what Arteta is going to have to fix.
I'll tell you what.
Just get me my parade next May.
Want to look at the skill set? Want to look at the skill set? What have we turned into? You said it, Aaron. We're turning into freaking Rory Delap and crosses into the box.
I said it.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. You said it. You said it. Like crosses into the box, right?
Rory.
And we do not have anyone to put those in, right? So when I'm looking at skill sets, I'm looking at
that goes against Gyokeres, to be fair.
It goes.
Don't take because he jumped high.
No. It's not that. It's not. I'm not saying that. But you can say he's got. First of all, I believe in terms of shooting technique, Sesko is a better shooter than Gyokeres.
Yes.
I think Gyokeres is a little bit rash, a little bit erratic.
Bad touch.
People were saying that. That's another thing I wanted to say as well.
I disagree with that one.
People were saying Gyokeres has a bad touch and can't link up with play. That's absolute BS. Because I looked at him and I'm like, he's linking up play. What he does do, one touch, spins off and he's gone, running into the box, stretching the defense.
Is he better than Watkins at that? Is he better than Watkins at doing that?
Watkins, there's not really that much of a difference.
I feel like
Watkins is just quicker than
Gyokeres, and he's a better all round, like the polish. You know, the finish, the polish.
Yeah. The finish. That's what I'm trying to say. My only main concern about Gyokeres is the finishing. He's a bit erratic when it comes to finish.
Did we wait 5 years that as our crown, our strawberry on top of the icing and the cake? Did we wait all of this time after Aubameyang for a 21-year-old Sesko? Did we wait? Is this what we were expecting?
Arteta's telling you and showing you that he has.
And I hope he shuts me up. I really do. Of course I do.
No, I genuinely believe in Sesko. I'll hold my L, but I genuinely think Sesko will bang.
How can we be not underwhelmed knowing that we threw Aubameyang out the door, by the way? Threw him out the door.
For free.
A million percent. I get that. Million percent. It's not the talismanic figure you were hoping we would do. And fans are impatient now. Like, whatever people have to say about Magalhaes, Odegaard, the majority of the team, they've grown up. They've done whatever. We do need some right now kind of guys. So you are right. I personally want Gyokeres. I actually fucking believe a lot in Sesko. If he does shit, I'll hold my L, but I think he's lit.
The only reservation about Sesko is how long it will take for him to hit the ground running. That's my only reservation. Which
you don't get that luxury. Sesko does.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Can I ask something now? That's like, for example, do you remember?
Which you need a winger then, if Sesko's like that.
Which is Rodrigo.
Oh, go on, because you want to ask a question. Go on. We're being
sorry, bro. No, sorry, bro. Do you remember when we linked with Isak, 70 million from Real Sociedad? Yeah. And what did we say? What did we say?
We don't think he's the proven he's not ready yet.
Remember that now, yeah? Remember that now? Yeah. Now we are the guys. We're the ones going in for Isak, 150 mil. We're thinking, what did we do? Right? So I don't want to be... Go on. Sorry. No. That's the question I want to ask to the panel now, right?
Yeah.
Is it a case now we don't get Sesko, we get Gyokeres, he turns decent, gets a decent amount of goals. When I mean decent, I mean Nicholas Jackson type of stats, 15 goals.
Oh, no. Yeah? See, the question's already fugazi. No.
No, hold on.
You mentioned Nicholas Jackson.
Hold on. Forget Nicholas Jackson. 15 goals.
Yeah, that's better.
50 goals. Forget Nicholas Jackson. 15 goals.
It's a fugazi.
Right? But then
it's a fugazi.
We see next
exactly.
year. We see next year, Sesko turns into that 120 mil, 150 mil striker.
I don't think it matters, bro. We make it.
No, then we're like, oh, why? What could have been? But if we win the league or whatever, and Gyokeres is here, hey, it is what it is. Go find the next Sesko in it.
Yeah, and also in terms of what the fan base will think, I don't think we will care and we'll be forgiving. Whatever choice we make is the choice we have to live by. And if the other player does well, then we're just going to use that as a more as a beating stick to say, hey, we made the wrong decision. This has to be the last like.
Yeah, because don't get twisted. There are some fans out there like, oh my god, you can't not sign Gyokeres. He's there. There will be the first shameless ones that sit there and say,
oh yeah,
that's why you don't buy no one from Portuguese league. I saw it with Kai Havertz. We all saw it to a degree last season. Certain man were saying, and girls, I guess, don't sign a striker. Where's Kai Havertz going to play? You got to remember,
as we mentioned, you can blame that on Berta.
Again, that don't make sense.
Yeah, but we could say Berta came in and changed Arteta's mind to get Gyokeres. That's what they're going to play it off as. Whereas if we get Sesko, nobody can say that. Everybody knows it's been Berta the guy for 2 years. We waited in January. We're still coming back for this guy. Like, even
I'm just saying.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, my bro. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, guys. Please, yeah, just for your own sanity, yeah, just for your own sanity. Just make sure that you've got Watkins at the back of your mind, yeah.
No, 100%.
Because it could happen. It could happen. Real talk. Because
you're pushing this Watkins agenda, innit?
Should I tell you why, bro? Should I tell you why?
I don't think I wouldn't cry if we got Watkins. In addition to that,
I wouldn't cry, but I'll be as a fan. I'll just be like, I'm kind of taking a step back for a little bit if we just get Watkins.
But if they get Rodrigo and Watkins, you'd be happy, right?
I would be happy, but I don't see us getting Rodrigo, my friend.
Yeah, you'd have to get me Rodrigo for me to say, it is what it is.
If we get Watkins, I believe much more that we can get Rodrigo. If we get Sesko or Gyokeres, I struggle to believe we get Rodrigo. It's so expensive.
Give me a Matoma.
100 mil, and he has to hand in a transfer request to leave. That hasn't happened yet. So I'm also very reserved on the Rodrigo stuff. I know we've been linked, but I'm not letting my
reserved. He's not signing. All Jabi Alonso has to say is you'll play, bro. Come on, he's an insecure Don. He just wants some encouragement, bro.
You're gonna be here. You're gonna be here.
And his camp is
that's it. Once he hears that, bro, he's fixing up his main guy here now.
Listen, he should know. He ain't replacing Vinny. Right?
No, nobody is.
No one replaces Vinny, and he's not going to play front. I remember a couple of times.
More first team football.
Yeah,
he gets that.
He's getting it, but he doesn't want to play on the right. He's almost like Martinelli on the right. You don't do nothing with Rodrigo on the right. You can't cut in. He doesn't know what to do on the right. So forget about it. I'm personally saying this, right? It's because we want Gyokeres, we want Sesko, and we want Rodrigo. To be fair, I don't think we're getting Rodrigo.
Yeah, I agree.
Out of Gyokeres and Sesko, the way it's looking at right now, especially historically, we might not get either, right? We might get to the point where, God forbid, touch wood, but we might get to the point where Sporting Lisbon's guys like, no, if you don't give me 80 mil, we're not going. And same for Sesko. We might have to go for a Watkins, a Matoma, a Morgan Rogers, or maybe even a Morgan Gibbs, right? Versatile players that can do multiple, even Eze. Eze's there.
This is where I would love Eze. This is where people have to show me an ability to pivot. Like, that's why I'm happy with Berta and this whole agreeing different tools. Because like we're saying, we're going back in time. Yeah, one thing that's peed me off is we'll be linked with Matt, we'll be linked with Steven, Joe, Stewie, whatever names you want. Yeah. Joey's our guy now. Joey's our guy. Aggressive links. It is where it is. If we get through the line, great. If we don't get Joey now, what do we always hear? We tried. We don't want to get players that we're not 100% convinced. Exact powder dry. And that's great. But as I always say, you can't do, when we needed someone to come off the bench, you can't go market opportunity, powder dry, save us, as we've seen it play out. That's what I don't want to hear. By hook or by crook, things need to be done in the summer. Because as you lot as well, some of you are a bit more bullish than me, but if things can turn quickly and us as common fans are saying this, what are they saying indoors? I don't know.
I think from my perspective as a fan, I'd rather be positive and look at it like I know where we are as a team in the club. Like we said, it's not a rebuild. Like the way Aaron was making it out, like we're Man United over here.
It's
like,
half glass, half whatever the half empty, half full for you.
Do you know African? My bro, do you know what it is? Do you know what it is? Yeah, it's that like especially, for example, Aaron just said you're spending 1,500, 1,700 on a season ticket, right? And the thing is, you know what it is as well? My son, 16 years old.
And there's people abroad as well doing madness.
You get me? They're doing madness. My son has never seen Arsenal do anything great.
Me neither, to be quite
16
honest.
16 years old, hasn't seen anything great, right? FA Cups, nothing. And then his mum's side of the family, guess what? Man United fans.
I knew it.
Man United fans. So what's happening now? Right? We're finishing second. He goes to his mom's house. Yeah? He comes back. Manchester United. Yeah, we won the FA Cup. And I'm sitting there. Yeah, but Arsenal's better. What do you mean Arsenal's better? This is 16-year-old, by the way, cups, trophies mean everything. Right?
Yeah.
What do you say?
At that age, it means everything.
You're like, I'm done.
Yeah, Uman and Arin playing with your fingers. There's nothing to say, fam.
Uman and Arin, right? So yeah, done.
I think it's better to go in with a perspective as a fan. If you like, for me, someone like me who consumes Arsenal stuff every minute of every single day, nonstop, I prefer I realize like it doesn't make sense for me. Although my emotions are obviously tied to the club in a very,
Oh,
very...
we know. We've seen in this 2 hours, man. You're
Oh
very
yeah,
passionate.
absolutely. But you know what I mean? Like, I prefer to just go in thinking that we're gonna do it, and that like I'm gonna give it the opportunity and the breathing space, the breathing room, the breathing space to see what transpires in that first week, 2 weeks before really assessing and saying, okay, are we gonna really do something or not? And that's why I said, for me, like, if we don't sign the players in the window, it already starts for me. I already know we're not gonna do anything based off what we do in the window, right? And I believe that a lot of fans will pick up on that, and there'll be a snowball effect. Hence why I don't think we just sign one striker, bro. I promise you, there's no way. There's no way.
Don't make promises you can't keep, my boy.
Listen, if
don't make them promises you can't keep them.
If you know something that we don't know, please tell me my lottery number.
Yeah.
I can tell you.
Wait, listen, Euro Millions is at 280. 280.
I'm very confident.
There you go. Let's split it.
I'm very confident that we're gonna sign Sesko, and we'll end up signing a winger or another attacker in some way. If we end up like maneuvering to Xavi Simons or someone like a Eze who could play both. Like,
you keep saying Xavi Simons, so you must know something. You keep saying his name.
So tell you what, would you be willing to put your chest on the line and say we're going to sign Sesko?
Yeah, of course I would.
Okay.
I'll put my chest on the line. I think that we're going to do that.
There needs to be a forfeit. I'm not going to lie. Wait, Aaron speaking, I'm starting to think, you know what? Yeah, he's actually making a bit of sense, you know, right?
So I finally got proof to someone.
So if you're saying with your chest, my bro, if you're saying with your chest,
100%.
You truly believe that we're going to sign Sesko?
I pinned it on my Twitter on May 21st before all of this everything even came out. I already knew. I know my club, bro. I know how we move. I know, you know?
Clip this.
And we already got the one earlier about by X-date players. So
Yeah.
We will all be answering for us.
End of June, don't worry. I've already got that pinned.
Wait, the 27th of June. Clip it, chat.
But we know we all know that if we don't put a bid in by the end of June, never like no one.
Look at the chat. We need a forfeit.
Where them go?
We need a forfeit.
Hey, the streets want answers.
The streets have spoken. The streets
have spoken.
I'm thinking maybe dye your hair blonde, like, you know.
No.
Because you know, like just
now,
that
bold,
one,
man, bold. Fuck that, bold.
Bold. No, I'd rather go blonde than bald. No.
Beard as well, bro. Beard as well, right?
I'll fly out here and pick you. Get Mohawk.
Mohawk?
A gold mohawk. Perfect like Gala.
Do the shamak cut.
Go 90s style and just leave a little strip.
No, but in all honesty,
like that midfielder used to play in Italy, is it Nagolan or something like that?
Nangolan.
Yeah, that chick.
Oh yeah, that guy. Yeah. No,
someone said the Jabril Cisse trim.
The purple hair.
I want that one.
What about when Joe Cole done that little red thing?
Even that. One as well. Why not?
Gyokeres Sagna with the Javinho trim.
Predator. Javinho's one's brutal. That's brutal.
Yeah.
I wouldn't wish that even on my enemies, mate.
In all honesty,
you need a Shane Gooner or a Lee Gunner forehead for that.
Oh my God!
How have they caught strays?
You ain't got that kind of forehead that them two have. You know what I mean?
Ronaldo hair. Oh, bro, that Ronaldo haircut is legendary.
Ronaldo hair. To be fair. But you lot have said worse ones, man. The Ronaldo one compared to some of the ones said earlier is too easy. Alex Sonzi.
What do you mean too easy?
That's too easy. I'd rather get Ronaldo 2002 than fucking some of the suggestions we said, than Cisse and Gallas and all these things.
Those are all terrible haircuts, to be honest, considering the hair that I have now and my ethnicity as well. Imagine me going bald or me having...
you'd have to hide still. You'd have to hide.
I'd have to hide for months, bro.
GTA San Andreas, just go in there and just give him
Oh,
you'd have to put a do-rag on, to be fair, just wear bare hats.
No, but if we're all speaking honestly, like, I honestly believe, bottom of my heart, Sesko is the one. We waited too long for him. The work that we've done, the price, the way that this team... I don't think he's the one. As I said, like I always wanted Gyokeres.
You mean he's the one like Arsenal are gonna get that?
Oh yeah, he's the one that Arteta wants. He's the one that I think we're gonna pull the trigger on. I think all this Gyokeres stuff is just leverage.
Arteta's Morpheus on
the best deal for Sesko. So yeah, let's see how it goes.
Oh, I hear it, man. This has been going on for time. It's been amazing, but I've definitely kept you lot longer than I planned on. But it's been amazing. Let people know where they can find you lot, man. It's been a fantastic chat. We have to run it back, but yeah, plug the socials, lads. Mods, do the same, please.
Yes.
Don't be shy now. That was cagey at times, lads.
I joined last, so you know.
I can go.
Fair enough. Aaron's got his escape.
Yeah, I mean, the African Gooner on Twitter, almost at 70,000 followers. So
Madness.
follow up. I report on Arsenal pretty much every single hour of every single day. I mean, there's some news for you, I guess. If you don't know, we're announcing our new training kit and our new training kit on Monday, which looks pretty cool. It's a blue one. But yeah, you just find me on Twitter.
For me, RYL Football Hub. I've recently joined on YouTube. Most of the stuff
TikTok as well.
TikTok
That's great
as well.
stuff over there.
And I'm a UEFA B license coach. Going on
Awesome.
to my UFA.
Good for you, brother.
Thank
Good
you,
for you, man.
Help Arteta with the creativity.
In 2 years, you'll see me. In 2 years, give me 2 years.
Yeah, good for you, brother. You'll smash it, mate. No worries.
Thank you
Ah,
very
that's
much.
sick,
Thank
man.
you, bro. Thank
That's
you.
awesome. By the way, it gives me a better impression of your takes on football when you told me that you have a license. Just I know it shouldn't, but it does. It makes you feel more credible.
Yeah, it does.
Because it means you know the game, right? That's the expectation.
Yeah.
Fair. Aaron.
Yo. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm
This
Aaron
guy.
Talks Arsenal. Yeah,
Fucking
I've got. I'm doing a call in. I'm thinking about half hour, 45 minutes. We're gonna.
What do
be
you
talking
say?
about...
I would have. Do you know what? Let's redirect to that as well, man.
No, I don't know when it's set for. Is it set for 9?
This
I don't know. I can't remember.
This
I don't
guy.
know, we just do what we want over here. We're talking about absolute pure facts. So if you like how I talk, how I say it, come and join over.
And even if you
not,
don't, man,
there's no
it's coming
digital gun
right.
to
We
anyone's
all
head.
disagree,
That's
but
all
we
good,
all
man.
fucking just want Arsenal to win, bro.
Yeah.
Man.
We all do. We all do.
And you guys are welcome on my channel anytime as well. You know what I mean?
100%.
Come on, I like a difference of opinion, man. Do you know what I mean? I like
The
it.
world would be boring.
It's been a cool stream. It's been a cool stream.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know how I've been perceived by you other guys, but I've enjoyed
we
being
need
on
that.
stream.
Nah, I think it's been calm, man.
you.
The chat, obviously, I don't know.
Yeah,
The
the chat loves it as well because you know what? In the chat, there's a bit of everyone. There's a bit of us in the chat,
Yeah.
right? People that believe Arteta in. People believe that he needs to get out. People believe
In the middle, kind of one more season.
So this is what I love.
Yeah.
This is what I love.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it, man. That's good.
I did as well.
Just debating, talking about football. All here for the same thing. We just think about it different ways.
Watkins, guys.
If we all thought about it the same way, what a devastatingly boring earth this would be, wouldn't it?
I'm leaving the Watkins until July, man. That thing is
no.
So
hold on. Just before we go, guys. Can we confirm after the 27th of June, right? If we do not get Sesko, what happens?
No. Wait, let's not put a date on it. Wait, let's be clear here. The 28th of June stuff was about the bid. We said that you and I both said that if we don't place a bid for a striker or anybody, then we were gonna start making noises because we were getting on Aaron for saying it's too early. So that's where the June 20th whatever came from, right? I never said that by June something. No, I just said that I personally believe that Sesko will be the one. Whether it's in June or July or August.
Go in the bin, African Gooner. Don't do it, mate. You're a nice guy.
No, let's not twist my words. Let's not twist my words.
African Gooner, you know what? Let me not put anything.
You're right.
What is the deadline? What's the deadline? This summer transfer window.
Sorry, for Sesko, yeah, no, of course, bro. I mean, I expect that we're gonna sign a striker before end of July. So
no, not a striker, bro. You said Sesko.
No, Sesko, yes.
Yeah, you said Sesko.
By end of July, bro, or August, and whenever.
Sesko by end. Oh wait, man, it's changing now. End of July, August.
No, whatever. What? So if we get him in August, then I'm wrong, and I still have to do my. Oh, come on.
Guys. Yeah, man. You said it with chest. You said it with too much chest. You said
it only took an hour. It only took an hour, and the goalpost will move. Come on.
So we'll keep it to end of July. I think that's fair.
Oh, end of July now, is it? Oh,
end of July, yeah. 31st of July.
End of July.
31st of July.
We're passionate about the end of June.
Next year.
About the end of June earlier.
End of season.
You've had a year end of July now.
Like Arteta, I'm gonna buy myself some leeway, some time.
And guess what? The end of July be? Oh yeah, but there's still another month for the window. And then we go round and round.
Round.
I spin right round, baby, right round like a
This guy's
record,
Jack
baby,
Sparrow.
round, round,
You know
round,
what?
round.
You know, I almost see
He
like the
just
Arsenal
keeps
version
going,
of
innit? You know what
the
I mean?
Arsenal version of Expression, Darren.
Spin around, move
Yeah.
out of my way.
This guy's
What
tapped,
we
man.
doing here?
He knows his songs though. He knows his
That's
lyrics.
what I'm saying.
Yeah. He could be a DJ in another life, to be
We got
fair.
Carly
Yeah,
Yeah,
actually.
man, he's
You
the
know what I
Arsenal
mean?
version of Expressions. Arsenal version of Expressions. I like.
Let's see on
Oh.
Sesko. Hopefully he's obviously like the intention is for any of whoever we get pre-season, right? So yeah, let's see how it goes. I think next week we'll start seeing some progress, in my opinion, on like a
I
first.
hope so. I hope
August
for
the
our sake,
27th.
as Arsenal fans.
August the 27th.
27th. Where?
And on that note, we're out, folks, man. Man, them
But he didn't
love-
say the year. He didn't say the
He
year.
didn't say the year.
Oh yeah, you're right. You didn't say the year.
Yeah.
No, we said
26th
July 2025.
Oh,
Let's
okay.
go.
Clip that, guys, just in case.
Hey, you lot hold him to that panel. One love. Make sure you're following Aaron. I'll get the lads back on to do this when there's something to speak about.
Yeah.
We're out, man.
Because you always just like, I think